Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. We are talking about the Nancy Guthrie case out of Pima County, Arizona. And the FBI director, Kash Patel, has called out Sheriff Nanos. The breaking news is Sheriff Nanos comes out with a statement. He seems to be a little angry. A lot to talk about on the other side of this.
I've walked through storms in scars and grace. Smile through pain with a painted face. They call me too loud, too much, too strong. But honey, that's the reason I belong. Every scar's a scripture, every tear's a hymn. I found my worth where the light grew dim. They tried to break me, but here's the twist. I turned my pain into a clenched fist. I'm an unbreakable woman, born of fire and pearl. Shine like grace in a reckless world. You can test my faith, you can shake my pain, but I'll rise again. Just watch me
Better be singing.
Whispered about and written off, judged by the gloss, not the cost. But God don't build weak hearts from gold. He made me fierce and he made me bold. I bend, I pray, I roar, I rise with mascara, tears and battle cries. Don't need your crown, I forge my own. From ashes, honey, I build my throne. I'm in a breakable soul, dressed in truth and pearls. The fire don't scare me, it lights
That comes
my
up that's while you're rolling in.
way. You can doubt my voice, but you'll hear my name. I'm holy and hood, and I'm done with shame. For everyone called too much, too loud, too real. You're not too anything. You're exactly what power looks like. I'm an unbreakable soul, through the fight and flame. My scars are stories, my strength, my faith. Faith in my heart, fire in my curls, forever divine.
Y'all ready for this?
Clutch them pearls.
Let's hit it. That's right, Ninja. And
Coming in clutch, better tighten them pearls, dropping cold facts. Got the truth for the world, no smoke, no fluff, just the real that we trust. Hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch.
there's Nelly, that's Leslie, there's Dan, there's Melvin, there's Dan, there's Melanie, there's ready?
I've walked through storms in
Coming in clutch, better tighten the pearls, dropping cold facts. Got the truth for the world, no smoke, no fluff, just the real that we trust. Hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch.
You're born a legend. Enjoy. All the
Coming in
pearls
clutch.
are icons only. How does this do?
Coming in clutch, better tighten the pearls, dropping cold facts. Got the truth for the world, no smoke, no fluff, just the real that we trust. Hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch. Coming in clutch.
Welcome and thank you. Well, hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Let me fix my camera. It's not where I want it to be. Come on, Cam. Hello, everyone. Still not there, but what's okay. Good to see you all. Thank you all so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. I'm not digging it. Come on, man. Let's go. Wait. Hold on. 1 second. What am I doing? Oh, you shouldn't mess with things while you're live, people. Note to the creators out there. Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Thank you all so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube. You have a lot of options anywhere on the internet, anywhere in the world. Okay. And you chose to be right here. I know your time is very valuable, and I do appreciate you spending some time with me. Today is May 5th, 2026. It is currently 8:10 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Oh, yeah. Hello, everyone. Got some breaking news coming out of Pima County, Arizona, in the Nancy Guthrie case. And there is a statement that Sheriff Nanos finally gives off after 3 months of Nancy Guthrie being missing. Kash Patel, FBI director in charge, makes a statement on the Nancy Guthrie case, fires back first. Well, he fires, and then, of course, Sheriff Nanos has to, respond, right? So, a lot to talk about this evening. Also, we're going to go over some very interesting things. You guys kind of know my theory on this whole case. Rumor is well, not rumor, it's a theory that could the Nancy Guthrie suspect actually be dead? I don't think so, but I want to know what you guys actually think. It's not about necessarily what I think. Um, Let me see here. Nancy Guthrie suspect dead. Yes, no, or unsure. All right. We got a poll right there. We're going to go over. Hit 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for unsure, and it will automatically drop it right there on the poll. Guys, before we get started, if you would do me a big favor and please hit that thumbs up button, would greatly appreciate that. Also, if you would share the live out on any of your favorite social media, hit that link, hit the share button, copy that link, and drop it in any of your favorite social media. Also, after the live stream, if you would consider hyping this video, you get 3 hypes a week here on YouTube. And if you don't use it, you lose it. And the more you participate in chat, the more points you get. Yes. So, um, a lot to talk about. I don't even know where to start, to be honest. Let me just say hello to a few of you guys. I have not spoken about Nancy Guthrie's case in like 3 days, I think. I've been on Jack and Lily's case. It was their uh, 1 year anniversary, if you will, in the Jack and Lily case. And that's another case that's very close to my heart. And I know it is a lot of y'all's as well. So we've got a lot to cover tonight. So get ready. So good to see everyone. Angela, good to see you. Leslie, hello. Deb, good to see you, my friend. Denise, SJ, hello. Miss Southpaw, good to see you, my friend. There's the Kelly Cal. Good to see you, baby. Tessa, hello. Bonjour. Maggie, hello. Grace, good to see you. Janice, hello. No, I think he's dead. Really? You think he's dead? Patricia, Sherry, Brandy, always an indie. Christy, Jennifer, Tina, Piece of Jesus, good to see you, babe. NS, good to see you, my friend. Jeanette, Jesse, Cherie, Roddy, Roddy Mama. You must have Rottweilers. Never mind, I just saw your picture. Good to see you, my friend. Good dogs. Luce, good to see you, my friend. Robin, Tina, Pam, Kim, Deb, Kim, Martha, Sharon, Timothy, hello. Robin, Wendy, good to see everyone. Hey, Anna, Banana, Becky, good to see everyone. Thank you so much, Miss Dolores, Mama Dolores. Hopefully you are recovering from that danged old flu. Thank you so much, Mama. Good to see you. Appreciate you very much. And Miss Holly, thank you so much for gifting the pearl necklace. Really appreciate that, my love. This camera, man, what's with it? Hold on. It's annoying me. It's really annoying me now. Okay. If this doesn't work, see, it's fine on the, now it's over that way. It's fine on my horizontal, but on my mobile, it was like half my face. So, okay, I think we got it now. On my way to London, Paris tonight for 1 week. Have a great time, Miss Darlene. You will love London and you will love Paris. Paris, just be careful in Paris. I don't want to scare you or anything. It's just that just keep your purse really, and I mean really tight to you in Paris. Just saying. Thank you so much, Miss Jessica. Good to see you, my friend. How you doing? Thank you so much, Miss Jessica. Good to see you. Thank you for your support, my friend. Really do appreciate you. Okay, guys, let's get right to it. First, let me show you what Mr. Cash Patel had to say today. And yeah, in the beginning, there's been obviously kind of like a toxic relationship, and it's not, in my opinion, on the FBI's part, it's on Sheriff Nanos's part. He's kind of got a chip on his shoulder, which we went all through that for quite a bit. He's been, investigated before with other things that we went through. And there was a lot of talk that he didn't work with the FBI for quite a long time. And I believe those reports. He's not really made a secret, in my opinion, of him not really caring for the FBI. Got this big old chip. And I think it's very well known, if you ask me. But, and you got to remember, as well, I don't even know if we would have these pictures today. I don't even know if we would have those pictures today of the suspect if it wasn't for the FBI. Because remember, Cash Patel is the one that released these videos, released these pictures of the suspect. Well, he sits down today with Sean Hannity, and they talk a couple minutes about, Pug, how are you, baby? You feeling bad? Oh, I'm sorry. Hope you feel better, babies. He sits down with Sean Hannity and tells what he thinks about this. And of course, Sheriff Doofy has to come out and speak on it today, after being quiet for the past 6, or not 6 months, I was gonna say 3 months. Now we're technically right at 3 months. I was trying to find my picture of Sheriff Doofy in his little short shorts. He's more or less, I call him Sheriff Doofy because of the sheriff off of what's it, Scary Movie? That one. There we go. I just uploaded it. Here we go. There's Sheriff Doofy. We know who he is. Good to see you always. Good to see you, my friend. All right, let's go. Here we go.
FBI Director Kash Patel raising new criticism about law enforcement
Oh, wait.
cooperation in the unsolved disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, mother of our colleague Savannah.
The first 48 hours of anyone's disappearance are the most critical.
Patel tells Sean Hannity that the Pima County, Arizona Sheriff's Department waited too long to engage the FBI.
We're here to help. What do you need? What can we do? And for 4 days, we were kept out of the investigation.
Nancy Guthrie was reported missing on Sunday, February.
He didn't, and this is what I really appreciate. Oh, thank you, Lynn. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I don't think so, but I'm glad you think so. So he didn't mince words there. And he's absolutely right. The first 48 hours of any investigation is the most important. They were, and in my opinion, from reports, it wasn't just the first 4 days. It was allegedly the first 3 weeks that the FBI might have been in there, but I don't think they were given everything, right? And you can be like, well, it's the FBI. Why can't the FBI do what the FBI does? They cannot overstep Pima County. It is just the way law enforcement works. They're assisting with this. The only way they take lead is if Pima County gives it to them. I just want you to listen. I just want you to listen to that little part.
Sean Hannity that the Pima County, Arizona Sheriff's Department waited too long to engage the FBI.
We're here to help. What do you need? What can we do? And for 4 days, we were kept out of the investigation.
Nancy Guthrie was reported missing on Sunday, February 1st. However, the Pima County Sheriff said they called the FBI 1 day later on Monday.
That morning, it wasn't days later that we contacted that morning, we contacted the FBI.
And that Tuesday, the sheriff and a Tucson-based FBI official held a joint press conference. The director.
Okay, we're going to do another poll here in just a minute. I want to know who you believe. Do you believe Kash? Let me see here. Who do you believe? Kash, Sheriff Nanos. All right, so you'll put 1 for Kash, 2 for Sheriff Nanos. Or I guess you could type their names, but and I believe Kash because he's the FBI director in this situation. He has no reason to lie about this at all. And that's exactly what the report shows, in my opinion, and the news reports. And that's exactly what Sheriff Nanos has had this chip all over him. All over him. Bugs, yeah, there's some things I agree with that on, but with it, just this situation, you know what I mean? Just this situation.
Praises the Bureau for the biggest lead in the case.
When we were finally let in, Sean, look what we did. We went in and got the Ring doorbell and we said, hey, is anyone talking to Google?
The FBI contacted Google and they recovered those chilling images from the door camera system.
Hey, is anyone talking to Google? No. And that was what, 4 or 5 days later?
That's why you have that image, because Google.
The FBI the director praises the Bureau for the biggest lead in the case.
When we were finally let in, Sean, look what we did. We went in and got the Ring doorbell and we said, hey, is anyone talking to Google?
The FBI contacted Google and they recovered those chilling images from the door camera system.
That's why you have that image, because the FBI worked with Google to put that image out.
That suspect remains unidentified 3 months later. The director also cited differences over handling DNA evidence. Pima County chose a Florida lab it regularly used.
We would have analyzed it within days. and maybe gotten better information or more information. Our lab's just better than any other private lab out there.
And we know about that, right? We know that Sheriff Nanos sends it to Florida County Lab. It's not that they're not a good lab. They're a terrific lab, but keep it all at the same place, Nanos, not at the Florida lab. You should have given it to the FBI. They could have turned it around quicker than anybody, period. It's so frustrating that we have this doofus of a sheriff who, in my opinion, really bundled this investigation in the very beginning. Just absolutely stifled. Damn, what did I do? 1 second. Okay, here we go.
The FBI contacted Google, and they recovered those chilling images from the door camera system.
So
that's why you have that image, because the FBI worked with Google to put that image out.
That suspect remains unidentified 3 months later. The director also cited differences over handling DNA evidence. Pima County chose a Florida lab it regularly used.
We would have analyzed it within days and maybe gotten better information or more information. Our lab's just better than any other private lab out there. And we didn't get a chance to do that. So I understand everybody's frustration.
Kelly joins us now live. And Kelly, maybe most concerning, the FBI director had no new updates on Nancy's whereabouts or potential leads.
That is the same.
You can't give an update if you got Sheriff Doofy
And truth, Nancy Guthrie remains missing. No arrests have been made. Now, the director did point out repeatedly that Pima County has the jurisdiction in this case, the ability to make the decisions that he may be criticizing now. Today, the FBI told me its investigators are still actively working the case. We also checked in with Pima County about Patel's critique, and the sheriff's office said we don't have any additional information to share.
In a newly released podcast.
All right. So that's with Hannity. Their Sheriff Doofus replies to this. Of course, he's got to. He's dumb. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos is aware of FBI Director Kash Patel's recent interview and statement. Sheriff Nanos responded to the scene the night of the incident, providing immediate local leadership and oversight. A member of the FBI task force was also notified and present at the scene, working alongside other personnel. Okay, you can have an FBI agent beside of you all day long, but you're still the lead and you still make the decisions, Sheriff Doofy. You still make the decisions to that. What is he talking about? You can have 711 FBI agents next to you. If you don't release the information to them and say, hey, we need help with this, we need you to do this, we need you to do that, we need you to test this, we need you to take over this, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay. The FBI was promptly notified by both our department and the Guthrie family. While the FBI director was not on scene, ooh, shots fired. Nanos just took us at. That is not good, Nanos. While the FBI director was not on scene. Oh, okay then. Lord of mercy, baby's got her short shorts on. He's so dumb. I can't with him. I can't. Okay. While the FBI director was not on scene, coordination with the Bureau began without delay. Decisions regarding evidence processing were made on scene based on operational needs. The laboratory utilized by the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI laboratory in Quantico have worked in close partnership, he loves that word, from the outset and continue to collaborate in the analysis of evidence. We remain committed to a thorough, coordinated, and fact-based investigation and will continue working very closely with our federal partners as the process moves forward. I can't stand him. I can't. I really can't. All right, so we are going to go to Fox News now and see what Fox has to say. Let's see how many Fox do they give. Both their jobs are in jeopardy for other reasons. Maybe Yvette, maybe. I just don't. I mean, Cash has no reason to lie about this. And can you I would be furious if I was Savannah right now. I would be furious. Okay, here we go.
In the Nancy Guthrie, one thing I want to ask you is about in the Nancy Guthrie case. I got frustrated because I knew from my sources they were trying to keep you guys out.
They did.
They did keep you out.
And look, here's how
time matters in an investigation.
The first 48 hours of anyone's disappearance are the most critical. And here's how
not they tried to keep us out. They did keep us out.
these cases works. It is a state matter. It's a state and local law enforcement matter. True. What we, the FBI, do is say, hey, we're here to help. What do you need? What can we do? And for 4 days, we were kept out of the investigation. And when we were finally let in, Sean, look what we did. We went in and got the Ring doorbell. And we said, hey, is anyone talking to Google? I called the leadership at Google and I said, look, we know that there was not a subscription service to capture all of the data that would have been captured had there been a subscription service. But can we go into the cache? Can we go into the data before it's deleted and see what we can find? That's why you have that image, because the FBI worked with Google to put that image out. Another thing we asked to do.
You guys got that tape, which was the biggest breakthrough during that case.
We could have gotten it days before. We could have.
That's something else too. I've not seen this full thing. Okay. How did he say that? Hold on. Let me see here.
You guys got that tape, which was the biggest breakthrough during that case.
We could have gotten it days before. We could have also maybe gotten more data had we been let early.
Damn. We could have gotten that days before. We could have maybe even gotten more data. You don't normally see law enforcement like this. And on our poll right here, who do you believe? 99% believe Cash more and 1% believe Sheriff Nanos. And that's kind of like his support level with his own sheriff administration, right? The co-workers and all that. About 99% don't like him, which is something.
Why wouldn't they want your help? Why did they send the DNA to a lab in Florida, not Quantico?
That's the other thing that you hit on, right? Again, we were saying we'll process it. I launched hundreds of agents and intel staff to Phoenix and Tucson just for this case, just
at no cost to you,
to be on standby.
And they didn't want
just
you
to
there.
do the canvas.
And let me just say, not only did he, like hundreds, remember there was so many FBI there. Not only that, think about the volunteers, EquiSearch, what's the other ones? United Cajun Navy. They asked Nanos if they could search for Nancy. No cost to him. All you're going to know is either you're going to find her or you're not. You're either going to find her or you're going to know where she's not. Like I always say, every search, you find out something. Every single search, you always find out something in every search. If you don't find them, at least you know where they're not.
And we said, we'll take the DNA. And again, it's a state and local matter. So it's their call. on where to send the DNA. We have Quantico, best lab in the world. I had a fixed wing aircraft on the ground ready to move it immediately through the night.
Did they just say no?
And they said, we're sending it to Florida. And then, I don't know,
They have
60
jurisdiction.
days. They have jurisdiction, so it's their call.
He said that he would have sent an aircraft there and to send it back overnight. It's amazing what the ego and pride will do. It really is. It's just absolutely amazing what the ego and pride will do. He did stop the search, Tina. Yeah.
So
Bad call.
Well, that's for the American public to decide. And
We've decided. Absolutely. We decided a minute ago, in my opinion, a minute ago. Thank you so much, Miss Linda. Appreciate you very, very much, my darling. Thank you for being an icon, Miss Linda. Much love to you, my friend. Really do appreciate your support. Thank you so much. And during the process, the Cajun Navy have, absolutely, so many. And that's the thing. These search groups, again, that they're not getting paid to do this. This is a nonprofit. They don't get paid to do this. They do this out of the kindness of their heart, but they have technology, equipment that law enforcement doesn't do, because law enforcement doesn't specialize in these searches every single day, like EquiSearch, United Cajun Navy, these guys.
And what we can do is continue to offer support. We would have analyzed it within days and maybe gotten better information or more information. Our lab's just better than any other private lab out there. And we didn't get a chance to do that. So I understand everybody's frustrations on that.
No, I'm not frustrated with you. I'm frustrated that they, if I was a sheriff and the FBI was willing to help me and time is of the essence, I'd want all the help I can get.
Not for Doofy. It's not for Doofy. Not at all. Okay. Very, very interesting. Got some more stuff rolling out right now. It's pumping out right now because people are pissed. People are pissed right now, and I don't blame them. So we are, wrong one. Still at 99.1%. There we go. Miss Karen, thank you so much, babe. Thank you for gifting 5 pearl necklaces. What a legend Miss Karen is. Thank you so much, Miss Karen. Really do appreciate you. If you received one of those pearl necklaces, make sure you thank our Miss Karen, because you are a pearl. You are a pearl. Where's my button? I don't know where my button is. Here we go.
Hope people are paying attention to this.
Welcome to Clutch 7 Pearls, yeah, you're in the clue. Shine bright like the stars, this world never knew. We're dancing, laughing all around this world. Hold tight, shine bright, you're part of our pearl.
Thank you, Miss Karen. Appreciate you, my dear. Good to see you. Thank you so much, my loves. Why did her family not organize searches? I don't know. I know a lot of people's been very critical of that for sure. Makes you wonder if sheriff is protecting someone. See, I hope not. God, I really hope not. All right, we're going to go to our boy, Brian Enton. The FBI had an airplane. Yes.
So some new information on the Nancy Guthrie case. Kash Patel, who is, of course, the director of the FBI, was just speaking on Sean Hannity's podcast and spoke about the case and seemed frustrated with the Pima County Sheriff, Sheriff Nanos.
Mm-hmm.
This really stood out to me. He said that they had a fixed-wing FBI airplane ready to take the DNA from the Nancy Guthrie crime scene in those early days right after she went missing, but that the sheriff instead decided to send the DNA to Florida. Now, we knew...
And that probably wasn't on a fixed wing aircraft either, right? I'm sure Sheriff Nanos didn't ship it via fixed. I mean, it probably, all mail a lot of times goes to on the aircraft, the plane. But regardless, it's not the FBI lab. It's not the FBI fixed wing aircraft.
That the sheriff made that decision. What I did not know is that the FBI had an airplane on standby in the area, ready to go and to take the DNA to Quantico, and the sheriff turned that down. Patel also said they had hundreds of agents in Arizona ready to help with the case. I took some notes here. He said that the first 48 hours are the most critical, that the FBI was kept out of the investigation for 4 days.
Bingo.
Said that he launched hundreds of agents to Phoenix, that they would take the DNA, that Quantico has the best lab in the world, but that the sheriff decided to send the DNA to Florida, had a plane on the ground ready to go for the DNA that night, but they said that they were going to send it to Florida instead, and said that they would have analyzed the DNA within days, but Nanos decided to send the DNA to Florida. So Patel clearly not happy with the way things were handled early on. But remember, the sheriff is in charge of the investigation, not the FBI.
He is. He is. And this is probably going to affect Sheriff Nanos's, if he's not thrown out before then, this is probably going to affect his reelection at best. At best. I think that would be the best thing out of probably what he's facing right now. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I appreciate him blasting him though, because I think that's what was needed. We were kept out of the investigation for 4 days, FBI Director Kash Patel, on the Nancy Guthrie case. Interesting. That's by Sean Hannity. If you want to see the full Monty, if you will. Okay. I want to go. Oh, let me show you this little interview right here of Sheriff Doofy. Always a great show in chat. Thank you, Susie Q. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you very much. Thank you for your support, Miss Susie Q. Always a pleasure. And thank you for being a member here on the Pearl family, Miss Susie Q. I love you, Miss Susie Q. Sheriff Nanos, the reward money is still there. It's there for a reason. We think somebody out there knows something. We know they do, he says. Do you guys think that they know who this person is? I don't want to tell you my opinion before I see what you guys say. I'm trying to stop doing that, telling you my opinion before I hear y'all's opinion. Because I don't want my opinion to sway what you guys think. Do you think he knows? They know? Yes, no, yes. I think they have some idea. No, I do. Nope. So it's very mixed. Very mixed. Yes. No, yes, no, yes, no, yes, yes, no. Yes, yes. I do. I think that they do. I think they have a pretty good idea, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, though. I think they will be back with those search warrants that they did. In my opinion, they will possibly be back to one or more of them. All right, listen to this. And if you could hear it, that would be great. Let's see here.
The reward money's still there. It's there for a reason. We think somebody out there knows something. We know they do. We know that someone out there knows what happened. Call us. The reward money's still there. It's there for a reason. We think somebody out there knows something. We know they do. We know that someone out there knows what happened. Call us.
I think that they have they know who it is. I think they have a good idea. I think they're investigating this. I think that they are probably playing a lot more dumb than they're making it seem, in my opinion. But what they're talking about now is a theory going around. Do they think that this person, um, could this kidnapper be dead? I don't think he's dead, in my opinion. If you guys have watched the last few times I've covered Nancy Guthrie, um, you guys kind of know where I stand on it. So we'll see. Little Black Bear, how you doing? Good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much, Little Black Bear. Thank you so much. By the way, I think it was you, Little Black Bear. I think you sent gifts the other night, and I think I wasn't sure if you was here after that, but if I missed you, thank you so very much, my dear. Really appreciate you. Good to see you. Thank you, Little Black Bear. Okay, let's go.
It has been nearly 3 months since 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home in the middle of the night. Sources close to this investigation telling us still there are no leads and no suspects. News Nation's Brian Enton back in Tucson talking with some of Nancy's neighbors about the fear this case could go unsolved.
It has been 88 days since Nancy Guthrie literally just vanished out of her home here in Tucson, Arizona, her home here behind me. It's quiet in this area now. You don't see the police activity like we did in the beginning. And a source close to the investigation tells me that there are no new leads, that there are no suspects still, and that they are going through thousands of tips that have come in.
In my opinion, I believe they're saying there's no new leads and there's no new suspects for a very specific reason.
That they will find that diamond in the rough that will lead them to more answers in the case. They're also, of course, still waiting on DNA. I've been talking to neighbors here right around Nancy's home. Many are concerned that this case may never be solved.
But there's a sadness. Yeah, like we all miss Nancy, for sure.
How often do you think about it?
Pretty much every day. I mean, I think about her, and hopefully they'll come to some resolution and figure out who took her and what happened. Well, we think about it not getting solved, and yeah, we a little worried. Yeah, that it's a worry for all of us, for sure.
You can imagine how unsettling it is for the neighbors here who thought that this would be solved months ago. And again, it has now been almost 3 months. We are digging into everything we've learned since the beginning, plus new information, plus talking to some of the nation's top criminal profilers about who the suspect could be, and putting it all together for our special, which will air on the CW network.
CW network. I guess they're doing a special on CW network. What do you think the reason is, Justin? I think the reason they are saying this is because this person is, in my opinion, out of the country. At least one of them is out of the country, in my opinion.
Next Wednesday, May 6th, it's called News Nation
Tomorrow.
Presents The Nancy Guthrie Mystery, and we'll take you back to the beginning of this nightmare that seems like it just won't end here in Tucson, Arizona.
It does seem like a nightmare that just doesn't feel like ending. Millionaire disappears and not found. No hope if I go missing, Lord. No, this is the thing. The wheels of justice turn slowly, very, very slowly in a lot of cases. The neighbor was not that close to her, but Brian always goes to her to talk. Yeah, I think he probably kind of maybe relates with her a little bit more. She's maybe, one that's more willing to talk, more of a chatty Cathy, if you will, that is. Okay. There was it March 2nd? Let me find this one right here. Let me show you this. I think I want you to see this right here before we move on to our main thing of the day. This was in the very, very beginning, and look how freaking dark it is there of the night. I think that they are gone, and they can't be extradited. Great, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can't see, but there are a lot of cars from the Pima County Sheriff's Department here, including their criminal investigation unit. This is on Camino Miraval and Camino Escalante. And Sheriff Chris Nano says people saw Nancy around her home Saturday night around 9:30, but reported her missing around noon on Sunday.
Did you hear that?
And Sheriff Chris Nano says people saw Nancy around her home Saturday night around 9:30, but reported her.
People said that they seen Nancy Guthrie around her home Saturday around 9:30 at night. What does that mean? I mean, I think I know what it means, but is it the sheriff? Is it the truth? Is it the sheriff misspeaking? Is it the news misspeaking? Or are they talking about Tommaso seeing her outside of her house? Yeah, Sharon, I need to do some.
Her missing around noon on Sunday. Well, Nanos tells us he's not ruling out that this was a crime. Nancy Guthrie is 84 years old and does not have.
Did you hear that? And that's Nancy right there.
On Sunday. Well, Nanos tells us he's not ruling.
Let me find it right there. It is.
Miraval and Camino Escalante. And Sheriff Chris Nano says people saw Nancy around her home Saturday night around 9:30, but reported.
People saw Nancy around her home 9:30 at night on Saturday.
Her missing around noon on Sunday. Well, Nanos tells us he's not ruling out that this was a crime. Nancy Guthrie is 84 years old and does not have good physical health.
That's Nancy.
So he says they are concerned.
Right,
well, the scene at the house, Nano says, also has concerns. They're using drones and search dogs to look for her, he says, and their homicide detectives are also looking into this.
Maybe you ran into her. Maybe she wandered off and you ran into her. If you've seen her or anybody like her, call us.
Well, Nano says they're going to be looking for her throughout the night. They're using infrared and heat sensors to look for anybody in the area that could be her. And a few months ago, I actually did get a chance to meet Nancy Guthrie and Savannah. So my heart honestly just goes out to the Guthrie family. If you do have any information, you can call 88 Crime or, of course, police or the Pima County Sheriff's Department. Reporting near Skyline in Campbell, Andrew Christensen, KGUN.
So I don't know what he means by that. Like, who saw them 9:30 Friday night, if that was Tommaso or not. But wait, didn't she get home at 9:50? Yeah, but Sheriff Doofy's kind of loose with his words too, especially in the beginning. He was very, very loose with his words. I still cannot just get over Sheriff Nanos, or them calling out Sheriff Nanos. Cannot. Okay. Want to play a couple things here. Our friend Chris McDonough from Smiley, good to see you. Our friend Chris McDonough from the Interview Room had a live stream last night, and there was some very thought-provoking things for me that I want to discuss last night. Mods, will you let me know who sent the gifts, please, if you don't mind? I greatly appreciate it. I can't see on my end. I think he's just saying people saw Nancy even though it was just Tommaso, because he doesn't know why people to suspect Tommaso anymore. I feel like it's anyone else saw her, we would have heard it by now. Maybe. It just depends on, like, if the neighbors spoke. I don't know. It's very weird. Yes. Yeah. Was it staged? I don't know. I really don't know. It could be. It really could be, because you got to think, oh my God, this camera is bothering me, guys. Why does it keep moving to the side? Yeah, Chris and all of them are amazing. It makes you wonder, but again, this is the thing. If it was staged, right? If it was staged, is it just this person going there to stage it? Is that what he was there to do? We're just talking about the theory if it was staged, right? Is that what this guy is doing? I don't know. But again, I think the circumstances around this case happening to be when it was, where she went, how she went there, I think is weird. How she came back and then a few hours went missing. I think it's very, very weird.
For nothing.
But I think that they certainly planned it. I don't know if they planned it well or they just got really lucky that the sheriff is a dumbass. Don't know. And delayed a lot of stuff, in my opinion. I don't know. Listen to this.
And yet, we don't really know how the death of a father figure can affect the kids. Really understand.
And what we're talking about tonight are the victimology, pieces of a particular crime scene potentially, and you have to be honest, and you have to talk about this stuff. You can't dance around situations. I just showed you pictures of my son's wedding. Karen's like, keep that off of YouTube. And I'm like, why? They know we were at a wedding. Okay. And
that's what I have the most problem with, the theory. One of the most troubling things, in my opinion, as well, is if it was staged, how that blood got there. I just don't really see them placing the blood like that. That's the only problem I have with that. And I'm not sure that if it was staged, then I don't think this person would have been there around the 11th either. Right? Like, I think if this was planned, and it does seem like it was planned, it would have, like, if it was, like, let's say, for instance, if something happened at the family's home, if something was planned for there, I'm not saying that happened, I'm just giving a theory, then they wouldn't been, like, looking at the house weeks prior.
Just have to put it out there. It's reality.
Thumbs up.
And one of the things that I want you to catch real fast is how this whole thing started. This whole case, how it started.
Listen to what Chris says right here.
And we know that the last proof of life was a family member.
Yes.
That no matter what anybody says, I'm not even talking about the guy on the porch. Okay. Because, that guy, there's no evidence at this point that guy took her.
That's true, but we don't have evidence that he took her. I mean, he's the most likely to take her, in my opinion, because he was there allegedly multiple times. Karen, thank you so much for the 10 jewels. I appreciate you. Sammy, thank you so much for the 100 jewels. I appreciate that. And thank you again for the 200 jewels, Sammy. Appreciate that. Lisa, thank you for the 450 jewels. Really do appreciate you, my friend. And Lisa, thank you for the 450 jewels. Shipwreck, thank you for the 10 jewels. I appreciate you. Miss Karen sent 480 jewels. Thank you so much, my dear. Little Texas sent 350 jewels. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you, Jules. Thank you. Very kind of you. Okay.
Unless somebody has evidence of that, I'd like to see it. So at this point, we have to go with
Chat
who
is on fire
last
tonight.
saw her.
Yeah.
Okay. And we know who that individual is. All right. Now, that means there was a narrative. And then you work up to the guy on the porch. Okay.
I mean, I'm assuming, Deb, that nothing that, by staged, they would mean nothing happened, I guess, at the house, and it would have happened somewhere else.
Because once that evidence presents itself, then you can say, okay, who is this person and how does this person fit into this dynamic? Agree or disagree, panel?
Yeah, Chris, you're touching on something that has been one of these little controversies arising from some of the ideas that we've put forward.
Sure.
It's very, very important, which is that from a logical perspective, it is technically not definitively true that she was ever in that house. Technically,
on the night of the abduction.
On the night of the abduction, it is entirely possible that
It is entirely possible. It is, because it seems like they were having a hard time finding a vehicle. I mean, I think she made it back, in my opinion, but it is absolutely right. From what we know at this point, maybe she never made it back. Kimchi, thank you, and Donna, so much for the gifts. Appreciate you, my friends. Thank you so much for your support. Really do.
The whole
appreciate
thing was
you.
staged to
And
look.
that's why I raised the issue. You guys we've all talked, everybody's.
That's a good point as well. I mean, explain the pacemaker. Very good point. Very good point, M. Blunk. However, the pacemaker, from what I understand, that's what time it was disconnected. It doesn't show every minute, and it updates like at the end of the early hours of the morning. It doesn't give minute by minute or even hour by hour all the time as well.
He's talked about it.
But that's a good point.
Very controversial. It caused, lots of people to sort of question it and so forth. But
it doesn't mean it happened. That is
doesn't mean it happened. It's just that it can't be taken off the table. It's
Right.
probable. It's just logically it has to be considered, because if there is a homicide, and I think in that instance it would be a homicide, where the idea is to eliminate a person and make it look like an outsider did it. And I'm not suggesting who the person close to her could be who did it, even if it was somebody who vaguely knew her. You could, for instance, create a staged situation to give the impression of a total outsider. And you could even, just for fun, set the guy up by telling him that the camera is off and have him stumble into the camera filming him so that he takes the fall for the whole thing. You could do that too, so that everybody spends weeks looking for camera guy when he's really just a hired goon or a person that's a friend of yours or something like that. So I think that you have to put that on the table as a possibility. You also have to put on the table the possibility that she was there and that, something was planned and it all went haywire, that it was just an authentic abduction attempt and it went haywire. For me, that point about staging cannot be taken off the table. And I'm really curious, because everybody's been buzzing about it ever since I said, it's what our group has been saying, said it on TMZ, and there's been a lot of buzz about it. Well, could we reiterate and clarify what we mean and talk about it for a minute?
Well, that's why I've raised the issue here.
Yeah, I know, Chris.
This idea, from an investigative analysis aspect, right? We all have to think of different. All four of us and everybody in the chat, everybody has a different opinion, okay? Which is a good thing.
Right.
Right. If you got to remember, whoever set this up, right? If they thought of it, how to do this, we can think about it too. We just have to figure out the steps, how they did it.
However, once you start focusing on what the evidence is presenting right now, And when we look at the evidence, that's what we follow. We don't follow the.
But that's the thing. A lot of people talk about this medication allegedly being on the counter. Is there a picture or something that I'm missing? Because we don't, and it wouldn't surprise me if she had to take medication before bed. A lot of people take medication before bed or whatever. But I don't know.
The emotion. We don't follow, the control points of, how narratives are going to be played out by producers on NBC and all this other stuff. Okay. We look at what the evidence is telling us.
Not that we're aware of.
And I was asked, before I even go there, what do you guys, any other thoughts
She's
that
good.
come to you?
She's good. She's
before
on the back of
I
the
move on to
case.
the next thought process here.
Just a comment or two, Chris. The staging theory would account for, at least in my opinion, the cool, calm, and collected attitude and demeanor of Porch Guy.
Yep.
And much has been made of the pacemaker and the last recorded event on Nancy's cell phone. Well, I posed this to.
That's exactly right. It does not mean she was alive when it disconnected. Absolutely.
To you guys off air before the show today, I haven't heard anything from the FBI or the detectives or any credible information to suggest that they knew that Nancy's phone was at her residence when the when that recording was, that point was made on the app with respect to the pacemaker. So as long as
you're exactly right, Deb. Exactly. I think this was hired. I do, of some validity. This was a hired hit for what is my question. Someone got paid to take her, but what did she know? Or she sadly passed and no ransom materialized. It could have just been a ransom thing and things went south really quickly. But I still feel like this is hired more than anything. There's just a lot of convenient timing, I think.
phone is in close proximity to Nancy, it could have been anywhere. Do I have that right? Am I wrong on that? Has anybody heard anything about whether or not the FBI or Pima County has said anything of Nancy's phone and where it was when it made that recording?
Absolutely.
Where was it?
Well, it's supposed to be at the house because Savannah says it's in her room with her keys.
Yeah, it was found at
what was that?
or Pima County has said anything of Nancy's phone and where it was when it made that recording. Where was it?
When he says recording, does he mean the heart? Is that what he means?
Well, it's supposed to
The
be at the
log?
house because Savannah says it's in her room with her keys.
Yeah, it was found at the house.
Right.
Okay. But that would go along with the staging theory, in my opinion.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and
agree with
the
that.
chat's lit up. I mean, it's 50-50. There are 50% that say
Sure.
they're staging and there's 50% that say no. How's the blood get there? Yada, yada. Okay. Well, we don't know that right now, but John,
do a
did you
poll.
want
I
to?
just wanted to very briefly, for a crime of this sort, there seems to be an unnecessary number of moving parts.
Right.
We've got pots holding doors open, and we've got blood, and we've got this the Michelin Man showing up on the video.
Michelin Man showing up on the video. We're going to do a poll here now. Do you think that this was... Why is it not populating? 1 second. It might populate. Okay, there we go. Do you think this was staged? 1 in the chat, yes. 2 for no. 3 for unsure. I'm not really sure about the stage thing. I personally, I don't think it was staged, but a lot of people do. A lot of people do. I feel like it was more of a hired or even maybe a ransom that went south. But again, a lot of you guys do.
At the front door, and we don't really have. I've never seen that with any of the. I've worked 2 abductions and I've worked many murders. I've never seen this level.
Okay, I was just thinking this. It could be partially staged, if you think about it, if that makes sense, what I'm saying. It could be partially staged. It could be, well, I'm going to open the back doors and leave the pot open. I still don't think so, but it could be. It could be. Could be partially staged as well. But 1.5 can't decide. Yeah. Could someone close to Nancy partially have staged it? They certainly didn't try to clean anything up. First thing that crossed my mind was very day that it was staged. Never made it home after game night. Left the back door open. Why? I mean, to make it look like she was taken. I mean, that's the only thing. And right. I mean, a staged. Anytime someone stages something, it is to throw someone off. Right. Hey, Sink. Good to see you, my friend.
Of moving parts, and where I see this, I become wary that maybe somebody is attempting to set up a narrative for us to follow. And as Bob has observed, we really don't know that she was in the house. We only know that because a witness, a extended family member said that he dropped her off.
Well, there was plenty of time.
We don't have any independent corroboration of that. So that is what gives me concerns.
And Chris, before we move on, can we talk about the blood? Because that's the...
Yeah, absolutely. And Gary, you jump on when Bob...
Yeah, and let me...
I think the plan was to originally probably take her out back, or if that was carrying her, or if that was making her walk. But again, I think whether they were carrying her, it would have made it easier for them to just pull up in the driveway. And they said, no, pull up in the driveway, it's closer. Or if Nancy was walking, Nancy would have, said, she's not very mobile. I think probably when they were taking her out, though, if she was alive, I think she would have been very confused, and she might have gotten really scared, like really scared whenever they were taking her out. Because someone being in your home obviously is terrifying, but once they start taking you outside, you're like, what the hell's going on, right?
Just preface my comments by saying I am not a blood expert. I don't have ever claimed to be one. I've had some training in blood spatter analysis, but I am not an expert. So I want to make that.
I got 2 questions. I need 2 questions answered. Why did Savannah say she got the call at night? Where did she say that? Why was this was a supposed call to law enforcement the night before? Sharon, are you talking about what the sheriff said?
That abundantly
clear. The way
clear.
he said it? When he
But
said
it
originally?
seems to me that it is entirely possible for that blood to have been staged on the front porch, including the aspirated blood. Okay. And you know, I've heard other pundits talk about turkey basters being used.
Yeah, no, turkey baster wasn't used. Do you think the scene was staged? Yes, 25%. No, 43, and 32% is unsure. More of you are unsure than thinks yes, and almost it's all, you know, 10, 11% difference between no and unsure. Very interesting.
Used and you know, these little earwax remover deals that you can get at Walmart. And
I need to pull that back up, Sharon. No, Savannah said at the night she got the call at the kids were running around. I think she had said they had just gotten back home, wasn't it?
You know, something like that, that could have been used to create that sense of blood. I don't know why a suspect would do that, but nevertheless, I just think that it isn't still entirely possible that that blood is also staged and along with the rest of the crime scene.
Well, the implication would be that if that story were true.
I mean, for me, I think you should, like, if someone hadn't heard from my mother or someone, you know, like a family member, I would call them first and see if I could get a hold of them. And if I couldn't get a hold of them, I would call my family or their friends or their neighbors, and be like, hey, have you heard from mom? Hey, have you heard from, you know, she didn't show up at church. But that's not what she did. But thinking about Annie and thinking about, I'm trying to give people the benefit of the doubt here because of how Savannah lives, and she's kind of got like a fast-paced life and all that. She may have not wanted to call her or knew it wasn't a time to call her, if you will. Maybe she was at work or doing something. I don't know. I doubt it. I don't really think so. I'm just trying to give her the benefit of the doubt here. But still, why didn't she call Cameron? Why didn't she call Cameron still?
True. The implication would be that the place in which the actual crime occurred would be so incredibly incriminating and problematic and point so directly to the person who did it that they had to throw everybody off the track by moving the crime scene to elsewhere, which is a typical thing. But of course, we don't know what that
Jill, I want to see the Uber video. That's what I want to see. I want to see that Uber video of Nancy getting in the car, but particularly getting out of the car. I want to see how mobile she was, particularly that day. Some days are better than others, especially when you're 85 years old. And because that would, in my opinion, tell me if she could get in that garage in 2 minutes or less.
Now, what I wanted to say was we have talked about this as one of several possibilities on this program numerous times. When I reiterated our ideas on TMZ, when I reiterate them on the program that you're going to see with Brian Enton, when I talked about it on a separate Brian Enton podcast. And yet what happens is, because there's this 30-second soundbite kind of world we're living in, people isolate the idea about the staging and have pitched.
That's another thing that's very weird to me. Calling like the like, I understand you call the hospitals, but I wouldn't call the hospitals before I would my sister. there's just no way I would call the hospitals before I would my sister or a family member. I just wouldn't. Not a chance. And just, there's a lot of hospitals in that area as well.
Pigeonholed me, for example, as being somebody who is wholly given over to that idea. And, so they'll say, this person says this person says that, now I've been assigned to the staging theory bucket. This is, of course, an insult to any intelligent human being, because a thinking person simply says, I can't X out this hypothesis. This cannot be taken off the table. And here are the different buckets that are possible, and this is the most likely. And so I think,
I don't know if I guess because maybe for the Uber's sake, I don't know, that maybe because it's an active investigation, even though technically, Smiley, the video technically has nothing to do with Nancy going missing, right? That we're aware of, at least.
I just want to say publicly that anybody who thinks that I am wholly given over to a staging theory is sort of insulting my intelligence. That's what I'm saying. So I just want everybody to understand that. And I think that's true of all of us. We're simply saying, I can't X that out.
It's possible, right? Maybe she called the hospital instead of Savannah because she knew Savannah was not going to be able to get there. She just acted in the instant. Maybe. But if the police are already there, you can ask the police, like, was there any emergency calls that came here? Because they said they thought they took her out. Maybe the ambulance took her out the back doors because the back doors was propped open. It's just very weird to me. I don't really understand that, but.
And correct. I think there are other theories which we now will proceed to, which equally have to be weighed. And wouldn't you say, Chris? There is this tendency.
No, perfect segue, actually. And chat.
I think that's
one
fair.
of the mods. If somebody could slow the chat down, that'd be great.
I know they're on
it's going by too fast for me too. I can't keep up with what people are thinking. So, Miss Sophia, or somebody can slow the chat down. That'd be awesome. Okay, so one of the things that I think we can all agree on, everybody. All of our TIR members, all our friends
Absolutely. Just make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button or double tapping that screen. Thank you all for being here.
The last proof of life was this.
Okay, listen to this part.
From home, and then drops mom off, and she goes into the house. That's the narrative right now. Would we all agree with that?
It's back.
Are you talking about the return from Annie's house?
We all goes into the house, drops mom off.
Listen.
And she goes into the house. That's the narrative right now. Would we all agree with that?
Are you talking about the return from Annie's house?
The return from Annie's house, right.
The narrative is Tommaso took Nancy home. It's about 8 or 10 minute drive. She gets out of the vehicle. The garage door goes open. Garage door goes down rather quickly. And Tommaso leaves, backs out and leaves. And then after that, nothing.
Right.
We have no objective witnesses. We have no independent corroboration that she, in fact, returned to the home.
Right.
The last proof of life is when the Uber driver drops her off at her residence.
That's the last proof of life that we have on actual camera of Nancy being alive, is when she was picked up and dropped off at Tommaso and Annie's. That's the last. Now we have a statement, if you will, an account that, that all this happened at their house. They played cards, had dinner, and then he dropped her off. But we don't have anything on camera allegedly, that we're aware of.
Okay.
At Annie's.
At
Yes.
Annie's house.
Yes, at Annie's. That is the last independent proof of life.
And that is really important to understand for the audience, because at this point, then, everything forward of that Uber driver is a narrative.
Yes.
And we who are on this panel have experienced many, many narratives in our time.
I think it's weird, Debbie.
Okay. And now let me give you the distinction between a homicide investigator and a profiler. I'm going to break this down real simply. Okay. A homicide investigator actually goes to the carcass on the Serengeti and decides, wow, I wonder what this could be. Is it a leopard? Is it a lion? Is it a cheetah? And you have to get into the mind of the leopard, lion, and the cheetah while you're at the Serengeti and in the Serengeti. And then once you figure out what that piece of the puzzle is, you get to go put that lion in a cage for a moment. And then they ask you to go in and sit down with the lion and ask you and have them tell you why they attacked that carcass.
Sorry for all of you that's lost.
And by the way, you don't get to make mistakes. Because if you make the mistakes, then the herd comes after you and tears you apart.
He's right.
When you're telling your story. Now, at the conclusion of a trial, that lion goes into another.
And that's, to me, one of the most confusing things of this, Deb, is those cameras inside. I mean, I believe whoever this person that was searching around her house weeks before and they were asking about if the lights, or there was a blackout in the area that night, and then the cameras record the police showing up. Like, that's pretty ballsy to go in a house that has cameras in it if you know it. But they didn't take those cameras. They didn't take the cameras from the inside, just that one at the door. And the neighbors' 2 cameras aren't working on the 11th and the 1st of when Nancy went missing.
Her cage forever.
I can't get over that part.
That's what a profiler is called. To come in and sit down with the lion and get their story about what they did and how they did it. But a homicide guy goes to the next carcass. And you do carcass after, dead animal after dead animal after dead animal. It just keeps going. And then you put those dead animals into the zoo where they can be studied. Here's the difference. Profilers.
Right. Yeah. And I agree with that, Mike. We know why they took the doorbell camera, because they had a car getting right in the driveway. They were taking her out. But, we don't know exactly where the cameras were inside. But if a crime is happening inside, you would think you would take those out too. Right? Because there's going to be some motion there. Unless there was just no motion wherever the cameras was inside. I don't know.
Don't stand over the carcass. They stand over the lion after it's been captured.
So that's a weird
Now, how do I know that? Because I was just with the guy over the weekend who ran the behavior science unit.
Well, they would know that.
And I
though.
bounced this analogy off of him, and we started laughing. He goes, "Of
Listen to
course, that's correct." So that's the difference. I hope that clarifies, some misunderstandings somewhere. So let's go back to the narrative here. We now have narratives. And now I'm going to show you a paradigm shift in the dynamics of two sisters, how we started out here. And it's all going to be predicated upon tonight's show, a 911 call.
And I will never personally believe that Nancy didn't lock the back doors or anything. I will just never personally believe that because of Nancy's habits. She was big into safety. Not only was she big into safety, but she cared for the safeties of others. She would write little pieces in the newspaper about, make sure your dogs have water this summer, and just little things like that. And for someone to go that extra mile to care about others, to write things in the newspaper just to remind people, that tells me, in my opinion, that her behavior was very safety focused. Now, she had cameras in the backyard. She had a doorbell camera in the front yard, and there was cameras on the inside. There was 2 or 3 locks just on the screen door. I call it the screen door, whatever those metal doors is. So I think those doors were locked. I will just never think anything else unless we're told something else. Someone have that many cameras on the outside, inside, and the front does the little articles with safety measures, and has just lived a relatively quiet, safe life. Yeah. But again, how did they get inside? Doesn't appear to be any like anything that they broke getting in that we're aware of. Her garage door, she could allegedly open it up from some sort of app. So, and that's the thing. Why no subscription though? I agree with that part. That's the hiccup.
Called me and I said, "Is everything okay?" Mm-hmm. And she said, "No."
Thank you, Brenda.
She said, "Mom's missing." And I said, "What? Yeah. What are you talking about?" She said, "She's gone." And she was in a panic. I was in a panic. I'm like, "Call 911." Yeah. She's like, "I did. We've called them. They're here." And we thought
we called them. They're here.
She must have had like some kind of medical episode in the night, and that somehow.
Now she says right there, we thought she might have had some sort of medical episode in the night.
Oh, the paramedics had come.
But listen to this.
Because the back doors were propped open, and that didn't make any sense. We thought maybe they came and there was a stretcher and they took her out the back. But her phone was there and her purse was there and all her things. And it just didn't make any sense. So, Annie and Tommy had already called all the hospitals, but then I'm like, I'm going to call the hospital. So then
we thought she might have, they could have came and took her out and the stretchers could have went out the back door, but that didn't make any sense. But then she says, that Annie and them already called the hospitals. So I understand you're going to be asking yourselves a lot of questions if you're confused, especially Savannah, in my opinion. But why, if you've already called the hospitals, would you be theorizing that? Right? If Annie had already called the hospital, why would you I can understand Savannah, but I'm not really sure about Annie.
And
because you'd be like, I've already called, and which is apparently she did, but then I just don't understand calling the hospitals before calling neighbors, family, friends.
I started calling the hospitals, and
'Cause you don't
the
know
police
yet.
were there and talking to her at the same time, and it was just chaos. And
Okay. I've never liked that narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Anything jump out at anybody?
Well, we discussed this before, but why would Savannah have to call the hospitals again if Annie had already done that?
And that.
Okay.
We don't know that any of the information she's providing.
Uh-oh, hold on. We have a late one. 1 second, y'all. 1 second. We have a late Pearl up in here. A little red to the office, please. You're being paged. A little red to the office, please. You're being paged. We need a late slip for a little red. Good to see you, my dear. Zach says when something doesn't make sense, something ain't right in this case. Makes no sense. Such a jumbled up mess from the start, of my opinion. Starting with Brian Ensign finding the dang blood splatter. Yeah.
Is accurate, and I don't know why my screen has gone blurry here.
Just move your hand up towards your camera.
Okay.
It's probably an autofocus.
Well, I'll work on this in a second. Just continue my thought. Where did she receive this information that the wallet was there and the phone was there? It's what she's stating is merely supposition based on information provided by, we're assuming, Annie. And the idea that there's pandemonium, I've been to plenty of missing persons, and pandemonium would not be a word that I would ordinarily use.
Gary?
I always love the word pandemonium, John. It's the capital of hell in John Milton.
Capital of hell.
Yes.
Abandon hope, all ye who enter was the sign at the entrance.
Yeah, from Dante. But I think having worked with a lot of victims, and particularly people who are acutely dealing with a recent tragedy, recent violence toward a family member, is that one of the things that can happen is that a person, honest to God, remembers something a certain way, but it's been affected by the stress or by what one.
I don't know. See, I think that we've all had someone missing for a minute, right? Like we've all not knew where someone was. And generally you call around if they're not answering. And if they're like, and that's, I agree, Brandy, like the grace and stuff you're giving, I absolutely get it. But I go to, we've all had someone missing, or it's for a minute at least, where they're not answering, and like you just call your siblings or their mom, their dad, their aunt, their neighbor, and that's just what I would do first before I would call the police. But again, like I say, in Savannah's case, where she's got a very busy life. Like, maybe not call her first, but I would definitely call Cameron first to see if, have you talked to mom? So I don't know.
Wishes to recall, or I mean, a simple example is I interviewed a number of people who were survivors of 9/11, an event that was very powerful in my own life. And one of the things I was absolutely fascinated by was how many people remembered it, that they went back in to save people. And there was no objective evidence that that had ever happened. They just couldn't bear probably the idea that they didn't. Or another example is that a lot of them will say, I knew as soon as the first tower fell that it was a terrorist attack. No, you didn't. Nobody knew that.
I know.
They knew only when the second one fell. At first they thought
it couldn't have, because early in the morning the watch or the phone connected with the pacemaker and then disconnected. So it couldn't have been that.
thought it was some colossal accident that a plane had crashed into. I remember it like it was yesterday.
I feel
so I think
horrible for
that
civilians.
people do that, and that's a very well-intentioned thing. It's just that under that much stress, that's why eyewitness accounts are so problematic. I mean, you all know that, of course, right, from your own work,
Charlotte.
that two people totally stressed out seeing something can swear something happened. And so I always question narratives like that, because when people remember events, they remember them as if they happened in a much cooler-headed manner. I said this, and then we had a chat about that. What probably was really happening is that everybody was hysterical, right? You get what I'm saying? I mean, that drives more with my experience of what really happened.
Yes, guys, please hit that thumbs up button. Appreciate you all being here. Share the live out. Greatly,
But I know how
greatly
people
appreciate you
remember
guys.
things when tragedies happen. And it's partly a psychological mechanism. I don't know if it went on here, but where I see it, it's the mechanism is, if you make a logic out of it, then it wasn't that random. Because if you realize that it was random, it's too scary. So you have to remember it, that like there was a thing that if I didn't do it, this tragedy wouldn't have happened. Because otherwise it's too terrifying. You guys understand what I mean? It's like a
You're what, Gary? You're what an author once wrote. Man,
we got Acadian Gal. Acadian Gal is late. Lord have mercy. Let's see. Acadian girl to the office, please. Acadian girl 999 to the office, please. We need a late slip for Acadian. Good to see my friend. APG, good to see you. H, thank you so much, my love. 10 months. We made a baby together. Love you all. Love you too, PGH. Thank you so much for your continued support, my dear. Really do appreciate you. Quincy, I was the closest to my mom, who passed 5 years ago, youngest of 4 girls, and I'm the 10th of the 11 children. Wow, big family. I got to see her so much through COVID. That was a true blessing. Yeah. Blessings to you, my friend. For sure, nobody would think that straight for a moment. Yeah. Again, I just think there's a lot of strange things around Tommaso and Annie. I can't help it. I would be lying to you if I said otherwise. There's too much there, in my opinion. The constant searching, not being there for 10 minutes at their house, but hours at their house, keeping their car longer than anybody's, multiple alleged search warrants with other search warrants. I feel like there could be some connection. Could be wrong, though. Don't know.
Rational animal.
This is one of those cases where you guys know I have my opinion. I believe one of the individuals could possibly be out of the country, like we covered the other day, which we're going to get a little bit into here in a minute. But I don't know.
Well,
It's
he's a
very bizarre
rationalizing
case.
animal, and that is I think is almost what you're talking about here.
Yes, and I think by doing that, it makes the terror of the event a little less scary. It's also why some people engage in self-blame when there's a tragedy, because if you think that you had something,
It's very interesting you say that, 503, because I've been to like locations where I've done coverage, like and went to the location, and it's always so much different than what it looks on TV. It's always so much different. It's 503 says the view of the front door is more transparent than seen on TV. That's interesting. Very interesting. Tina, thank you so much for 5 months. What a legend. Thank you so much, Justice for Nancy. And I hope it comes soon. Oh shit, where's my other one? Hold on. I'm way over there today. Y'all couldn't see me on mobile. What was the saying? Tracks in driveway on day 1 would take 150 pounds at least. It would take a lot of weight. It would take a lot of weight to disrupt the gravel for sure.
to do with it, then you have power over it. If I just don't do that again next time, this thing won't happen. And so it's the way the brain tries to make meaning out of a terrifying event. So I just think when you're hearing somebody remember an event like that, just hear it through the lens of that's how it's being emotionally recalled. But it's not a tape recorder.
Yes.
Memory is not a tape recorder, particularly during traumatic events. I mean, and you guys all know that. You ever see people on the witness stand say things very differently than the way they said them when you interviewed them at the crime scene?
All the time. Yeah.
Right. So, it's the way it goes. Right.
So, Gary, do you think Savannah is blaming herself in any way?
Well, she says that when her brother talked to her, that he says, that it might have been because of her. And I found that to be one of the most heartbreaking.
What did
moments.
Trish say? I missed it. What did Trish say? The 911 log states that they were there. Oh, yeah. I showed that. Yeah. I did show that. The 911 log states that they were there Saturday night at 7 p.m. and Nanos has never fully explained it. He acts just like it was a slip up. It does say that they were there Saturday night. He says that in one of his interviews as well. He said it in a press conference. Was it the log? Hold on, now that I'm thinking about it. Was it the log or is it? I remember him saying that. I'm not sure about the log though.
Moments in the entire interview, I really felt that. I thought there was a palpable thing that really struck me as an empathic human being, that I can envision if something like this happened, no matter what the reason was,
Let me look at it.
wondering if I, as the most prominent and probably the most wealthy person in the family, had anything to do with the selection of my mother. And that's what was implied, that she was abducted. Isn't that the story, that it is possible she was abducted and you had something to do with it, sweetie, that kind of thing. And so I think, yeah, she probably does wonder and feel a lot of pain about that. And I don't know what you guys think, but I found that part of the interview to be really authentically very painful.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Well, and I've said this before, but the NBC or the Today Show producers or the powers to be there at the Today Show have given all of their celebrities, all of their on-air people, some training through a private security company, anti-stalker training, if you will, and taught them how to.
Hold on, I want to hear something. Just give me 1 second. We're going to come straight back to this. I need to hear something.
Unit, somebody copy and attempt to locate for a vehicle of interest in the Nancy.
Wrong one. Never mind. I'll find it in a second. Just give me 1 second. I'll pull it up.
Or how not to engage with people that may or may not be stalking them. And according to Megyn Kelly, that extends or can extend to the immediate family too. So it's quite possible that it wasn't just Savannah that received the training. It could have been Nancy, Annie, Cameron, and perhaps even Tommaso. So I think that's an interesting point.
Okay, so let's talk about probably what didn't happen and see if it makes sense. Because you know how I am.
What didn't happen. Oh, I see. Okay. I know this game.
You know how I am.
Yes. The Chris game.
A profiler would know this game.
A profiler would know this game. Yeah.
One who profiles would know this game. Let's put it that way. One who engages in profiling but may not be a profiler.
Okay, so we've got, the 911 call that goes into dispatch. We've talked about that in the past. I think we all surmised, we all know what the patrol officer would have done if he would have gotten on the scene. We actually reenacted it out of how they would have checked and would have checked for the CAD and all this other, all the stuff to make sure there wasn't a medical call, a medical aid to the house that night. We all agree with that?
Yeah, and that the first several hours, they were in search and rescue mode. They were not in crime scene mode. They had, for everything that we know, they were in search and rescue mode and was not looking at this as a crime.
Okay.
Which suggests they didn't see the blood on the front porch, which I find a conundrum.
Well, you're getting ahead of me, but I love
All
you.
right, sorry.
No,
You know
you're
what?
good.
Not
You're
because I'm a
good.
profiler, I'm an amateur filer.
Stay there. Okay, so now I think all of us know that the first 911 call would have been made by Nancy herself.
Yes.
I'm having a mental health incident, and you would have heard dispatch say 911. What's your?
That's a very good point, right? Like, if Nancy was having a medical emergency, she would have called. Or some of the pacemakers, if there's a medical emergency, it can alert. I don't know if hers did or not, but it can alert emergency services.
Emergency. Hi, this is Nancy Guthrie. I live at so-and-so, such and such. I'm having a medical emergency. I need to have an ambulance. I need to have blah, blah, blah. Right? You guys agree or disagree?
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah. If it was, yes. If the original event was indeed a medical call.
Okay. And that would have also been recorded, which would have made sense because the next morning,
good point,
when they show up.
Good point. It would have been recorded. Well, and we've stated that, right? Like, if Annie thought there wasn't a medical emergency, the police should have been like, yeah, well, she called at such and such in the morning or whatever, but that doesn't happen.
Mom's not here, 911, what's the emergency, yada, yada. Okay. You know who else wasn't called? And here's what doesn't make sense. The girlfriends. The reporting party who said mom didn't show up for church. There's no conversations anywhere that have been public that said, and we called her girlfriends who called us to come over and check on mom. And we got here, she's not here. They did not call back and say, do you know anything about, did she call?
That's a good point as well. You would think that the girlfriends would be like, did which we don't technically know if they did or they didn't, to be honest with you. But I'm just saying.
Did somebody come get her? Any of that stuff does not exist at this point. Thoughts? Gary, I see you leaning back into the dark.
Yes. Well, you're reminding me of the famous Silver Blaze story, Sherlock Holmes story, where Sherlock Holmes makes the remark about the dog barking in the night. And they say, but the dog didn't bark in the night. And he says, that's the curious incident. In other words, it's the absence of a thing that is more curious than the presence of a thing sometimes. That's sort of what you're suggesting, right? That you don't see the barking in the night that one would expect.
And sometimes it's not what did happen, it's what didn't happen. Or read between the lines.
The situation. It's the absence of a thing that you're interested in.
The next thing the patrol officer would have said is, who did you call or how did you get here? Well, the girlfriends called me for virtual church. Okay, call them back and see if your mom in any way, shape, or form called them last night if there's any of that incident taking place.
Hey, chat, question. I have Nancy's deed of trust. It's a deed of trust for $70,000. She had a revolving line of credit. Have y'all ever seen that? Do y'all want to see it?
Okay. Because if the narrative is beginning to say, well, the reason the back doors are propped open is because we're inserting a medical event, insert here, okay, then the one thing you're going to do
in a minute.
Police Work 101 is start connecting those dots and verify that those dots are connecting correctly. To John's point about the blood.
And Karen, yes, Karen says, I have a son with access to a camera in my house. He tried to call. I didn't answer. He saw my phone charging. I did not respond to him talking in the camera. I'm in the shower. I called out before he called 911. So I took care of my grandmother till she passed away. She raised me. She was my mama. And I took care of her, like I said, until the day she died. I had a couple cameras in the house, and I could speak with her from my phone. I could hear her from my phone or any smart device. That way, like if she didn't answer or whatever, I could get on my phone and I could just make sure she's okay, make sure she hadn't fallen or anything like that. That's a very common thing for people to do with elderly people, special needs, pets, that kind of thing. And again, you would think, in my opinion, that Annie would have had access to those cameras. At the very least, Annie, because Annie was the caregiver of Nancy, right? He said, I hope you don't pull an Elvis Presley on me. Yeah. My dad was 83 and he wouldn't allow the cameras. Well, it wasn't really a choice for my grandmother. You do it or someone's got to keep an eye on you. And if I can't do it, then you're going to have to, I don't know, go to an old folks home or something, which I would never put her in, but you just gotta, you just gotta do something sometimes.
Okay.
Okay, I have some more thoughts on that, but go ahead.
Some people are stubborn.
Okay.
Right.
And so now you've got this concept that says, right now there's this, it's a black hole out there from an investigator's side. The sheriff, for some reason, is not talking about how the family got in, how the family found the house, other than what we hear from Savannah, is that the doors were propped open. But now we get into this, okay, well, let's really talk about the 911 call. What was said on the 911 call, we don't know. They've not released that. So they're holding that back for a reason. They're holding back how the point of entry was made by the family for a reason.
That's very interesting what Chris says here, and I like his train of thought. Savannah doesn't really seem to say, we really don't, and that's always been the question, right? Like, how did Annie and Tommaso, when they got there, how did they enter the property? Was it the front door? Well, there was blood at the front door. Was it the back door? I would probably not think you would go to the back door first thing, and the doors were propped open. The garage door, if it was the garage door, we don't have anything of that opening. However, if it was the clicker or a combination number, then you're not going to have that data to begin with. Did they not? So I'm trying to think about if I was in that position and I got there. If the back door was open and I saw that the back door was open and I came through the garage, I'm probably going to look out the front door. I'm probably going to circle the house, actually. I'm even going to go to what I call the mother-in-law, we'll just call the little rental house or the guest house. I'm going to go there. I'm going to even check in the pool to make sure she didn't fall in the pool before I call everywhere. Right? Wouldn't you do that? Wouldn't you? Well, okay. I walk in the house. Mom's not there. Back doors are open. I'm going to look out the front. I'm going to look at the back house. I'm going to look at the pool. I'm going to circle the house a couple times. But they don't really say how that happened. And Chris is saying that he thinks that they're not saying that for a reason. Well, they actually, Bridget, we thought that they were there an hour, but they were only there 8 minutes. They were only there 8 minutes before they called 911. And again, what's interesting to me is if I was on my way over to Nancy's, if I was Annie, I would have, if I didn't get a hold of Nancy, like I said, I would have called my siblings or neighbors. And when I got there, I would be looking around. Or even if I wasn't on my way over, when I got there, and you notice the back doors are open, you're probably going to call quickly. And it was 8 minutes. Is there camera footage of Tommaso dropping Nancy off at home? Not that we are aware of.
And so then we add into that narrative, insert here, well, the back doors were left open.
Oh, I'm not.
She always
I'm not
leaves
saying
her
to call the
doors
cops
open.
I would have called the cops pretty soon.
And we've
if I
talked
didn't,
about that
after I looked
at
around.
length. But I think I've got a problem with the fact that the front door looks like
But you would think they would notice the blood, but Maybe not.
Fort Knox.
Police didn't, so can't really give it to them.
It's got a big, huge grate on it and 4 lock mechanisms. And guess what?
I can't really, give it too hard on Annie and Tommaso about not seeing the blood whenever it seems like the police didn't either. So
does the back door. We know that now. We can see it in that photograph. And so we're to presuppose that the suspect leaves the back doors, or mom leaves the back doors open, but not the front doors.
Because burglars never come in through back doors.
Right. They always go in and out through the front door.
Yeah, and they wear masks and striped shirts.
Right.
I mean, this just doesn't make any sense.
Right. Well, right. Keeping it right. We're all thinking open-minded here in the chat. What do you guys think?
I agree, Deb.
Okay. We love your ideas. Please jump in. But does that make any sense to you, Gary?
Another thing, there's a picture of the garage. Becky's comment made me think of it. My guess is that they have Nancy's garage door opener programmed in their car, and I suspect that is how they usually enter the house. That's interesting. They certainly could. But it doesn't seem like that, Becky, because the way that this opened, there was a signal, and it seemed to be an internet signal, which tends to make it think like this was like a garage door app opener. If it was just a button, it wouldn't have given an internet signal, if you will. But another thing about the garage, again, to me, let me fix this damn camera. That's interesting to me is, again, it could have been something that the FBI was doing, but when the FBI was in there, there's a picture of a broom that's fairly close to the door. It was knocked over, and there was something else I can't remember in the floor. And I don't see Nancy having just a broom and something else on the garage floor like that. I always found that interesting as well. I'm like, why is that? Because Nancy was a very orderly person, right? I mean, she did a piece on the news of how, she wanted even her bed sheets, right? She was a very orderly person, right? Everything has a place, and a place for everything was kind of like the motto.
I mean, I think the points you make about the front door have been a little underrated in the discourse on this case. I remember when you and I and John were on the lab, the Just Yeses program, and like a kind of bombshell, you introduced into the conversation a point about the bolting of the front door that was kind of like a lightning bolt, because it left us all going, how did nobody else think of that? And it was so fundamental that, and I really think it would be worthwhile even to talk about it a moment here, because
that's right.
It really alters the way one can.
That's right. That's exactly right, Deb. The Mahong, or however it's pronounced, group came on Friday, and Sunday she was going over girlfriends for church. She was going over when they were playing the game, she was talking about her going over. No, she was going over speaking about the what was it? She told them that she was going to her friends on Sunday for the church. Yeah. Magdalene. Good to see you, baby. Thank you. She never drove to her friend's house for church. She used an app like Zoom, I think, for church at her own house. No, she was going over there. She was actually going over there. Right? I sent a super chat about the dang door a long time ago. What do you mean, Ginger? About the door a long time ago? Oh, about the what door? Which door? The garage door? No one in the family is looking for Nancy Strange. I don't know.
Conceptualizes everything that might have gone down because you just don't understand how that
I
door
gotta
could
fix
be
this camera. It's
bolted
annoying
on
me.
the way out, kind of thing without. I mean, so maybe you can. I mean, Bob, did you hear Chris's theory about the bolting of the door? I thought it was really remarkable. John, didn't you think so?
Yeah, I thought it absolutely was that, as Chris laid out, why are the doors bolted? What was the abductor concerned that someone was going to break into the house later? It makes no sense. And the other thing and I'll let Bob finish up here,
right,
is if I'm the first deputy on the scene and we have very rapidly eliminated the potential that Nancy.
I don't know, like a lot of people do. I don't really criticize the family for not looking. I can see both sides, but I don't, especially Savannah, because of who she is. But the sheriff, like, he's not even allowing other people to look.
She has been removed to a medical facility. Yet somehow this notion continues to retain life. I don't understand that. But if I'm the deputy walking around the house doing a preliminary assessment of the residence, and I see that blood at the front door, I'm going to know right then and there, based on the fact that we've already ascertained medical services were not at the residence. We don't have a walkaway. We have a crime scene here. So why are we 2 hours after the fact still wandering around in search and rescue mode when we need to be in investigative mode?
Okay, so
well, shit, they're clearing the scene in 36 hours.
We're leaping into the crime scene, in my opinion, a little too fast.
Guys, we need 160 likes for a chicken party. And let me just say, if you've never been here for a chicken party, you are mother chicken missing out. Okay? You have no idea. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up, double tap the screen. The Real Me Too says, I don't criticize for not looking, but I do for using all the platforms they have access to and not plead to the public for tips if they don't plead or their mom who will. I think Annie and Tommaso, specifically Annie, needs to come out and speak. Again, I think Annie is eccentric. Nothing wrong with that. And it may be just kind of her personality. But whenever she was sitting on the couch kind of sideways and Savannah was reading the letter and she was doing this, it felt weird. It felt a little weird. But again, it could be her personality. Everyone is different. Everyone's a little eccentric in some form or fashion, I guess. I don't think, I mean, she could be, Don. She could be, but I don't, just by her poetry and stuff, I don't see naive. I don't see naive with her. I don't know. I don't know. Just a lot of questions. A lot of questions. And you're right. And you're right. About the first part, in my opinion. If Annie speaks, everyone is going to say that she's strange. No, well, not everyone, but there are people that's. I mean, this is the thing, and take it from a YouTuber or anyone that's, or just anyone. You're never going to please everybody. You're just not. There's going to be people that's not going to like you. There's going to be people that thinks you're weird or this or that, and especially in something like this. But there, in my opinion, with the true crime case of Nancy Guthrie, you have, people aren't just thinking that this is off for no reason, right? There is some question marks about why take her car longer than anybody else's? Why go over there multiple times, spending hours in the house? There is a lot of questions. Why did the FBI just run over there very quickly and have literally 200 agents and police officers out there searching in people's backyards around Annie and Tommaso's house? You know, the timeline. So I get it that, you know, I mean, I've heard people, you know, blame Savannah. To me, that's just ridiculous, to blame Savannah. To me, it's ridiculous to blame Cameron. And a lot of people thinks it's ridiculous to think that it's a little weird with Tommaso and Annie. To me, it's not as ridiculous because, again, what I just stated a minute ago. But it's not really what people think of you, when it comes, you know, if people thinks Annie is eccentric, I like to use the word, or not, or some say weird, because it's about getting your mom home or being a voice for her when she can't be a voice for herself. Because even if she had, and again, law enforcement hasn't said that they do have anything to do with it whatsoever, but, and let's say we're on the other side of this, if she had, and it's proven and all that, that, you know, someone else did this and nothing to do with it, they had nothing to do with it, people's always going to think someone's weird for whatever reason. I agree. I think he's a little eccentric, you know. I mean, look, right? Look at those short shorts. The glove. Come on. Little Black Bear, thank you so much, baby, for gifting a love you, Little Black Bear. You are so sweet, and I appreciate you very, very much, my friend. Good to see you. If you receive that, make sure you thank Little Black Bear. I wonder if the bad guys didn't come in through the back and were waiting for Nancy when Tommaso dropped off, and that's why he left so quickly instead of helping her to get settled in. What that would, you know, be if he knew, right? But what always sticks out to me is this. What always sticks out to me is the neighbor who says when he was walking the evening Nancy was at Tommaso and Annie's when they saw that strange car in the area. And Ginger sent me something a while back about that. Was it a van, Ginger? I always think about that too. Let me find that.
From the initial call. So if you remember, I think it was Sergeant Cross and maybe the SWAT lieutenant, and I'm sorry I can't recall his name, but I've seen him on Enton's show and a few others, and he has talked, and they, I guess, have talked about the number of search and rescues that they do for walkaways and missing persons, many of them being elderly. So if you're the first deputy responding to this in Pima County, knowing that these are regular type of calls, you respond there and you get a statement from Annie and Tommaso. You may or may not see the back doors open because we really don't know when those doors were opened or propped open. And you start walking around. One of the first things that you're going to do is you're going to go with the family and you're going to make a thorough search of the entire residence, inside and out. And it sounds to me like that's
a very good point. Think about that right there. Sherry, love you, darling. Think about that right there. You would think that they might have done a walkthrough, but if it was a crime scene, would they? I don't know.
They did. Okay. And it's my understanding that a uniformed deputy was the first one to discover the blood on the front porch. Okay. So if you're a patrol deputy or even a patrol sergeant and you've responded to many of these, you may still be in search and rescue mode because Nancy's elderly. We know that. She has mobility issues. Did she fall and hit her head? She's delirious and she's walked away from the home. So we're still in search and rescue mode. We're not in crime scene mode yet. All right. And you're getting statements from Annie and Tommaso. Yes, she is, and they've detailed her mobility issues to the deputies. So I don't know if that takes 2 hours. I don't know if that took 4 hours in this case, but just because you have the blood on the front porch at that point in time, okay, would not be a huge red flag to me, given the information that I have as a patrol deputy.
Jen, where you been, girl? Oh my God, I ordered takeout, and one thing I was craving was a milkshake. They forgot it. Ready, Jen? My milkshake brings. Okay, never mind. Okay, wrong milkshake.
Okay, I'm going to push back just for a second.
Hey, go ahead.
Can't order it. Can't.
You're that patrol deputy. Okay. What do you do?
Oh my God, I hate when that happens.
I told you what I just did. I'm going to make a thorough search of the residence,
okay,
the yard,
you find the blood.
everything.
You find the blood.
Well, at that
You're
point,
going to follow that blood trail, right or wrong.
Good Lord,
okay, if I'm in search and rescue mode, I may not do anything with it at that point.
Where's my face?
All right, I'm just telling you reality. I
no, I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
So you find the blood. Okay, I'll tell you what I would have done. This is from my patrol. If I was a patrol guy, right, and what I have done as a patrol guy, as you have, as all of us have, you find that blood, and you start following that blood trail.
Well, sure.
Okay, put a 1 in the chat when that song goes through your head. When you hear milkshake, that's the first thing I think about.
Of course, yeah.
And guess what? It stops.
Yeah.
At the end,
the next thing you do is 3 Kings Station. Oh, I need a supervisor here ASAP.
I agree.
It goes to the end of the sidewalk and stops at the railing.
Love.
Okay. It's a great clue, and I agree.
And
I know where you're going.
Bleeding from the head or the nose or the face.
Yeah, I understand what he's saying, but like Ginger said, she could not walk at all. She could not walk at all. And I'm going to show you something that sticks out to me as well. I'm going to upload it here. Let's see. I'm not the only one. What's the milkshake song? Piece of Jesus. It's an older. It's a.
But you're gonna.
That song came out, and I want to say 2005 to 2006, something like that. Levitina.
Still have blood trail going across that dirt.
You're still in search and rescue mode because maybe she wrapped her shirt around it or something.
Right.
I don't know.
We're going to follow the blood trail because that's where the body's.
I know. I was not going to. Piece of Jesus was asking, and I was just like, I'm not going to tell you, piece of Jesus. It's a metaphorical song, if you will. It's about your milkshake bringing all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than. Love you, peace. Kay, thank you so much. Loving this channel. Thank you so very much, my dear. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much, my love. Good to see you, and thank you for your support. It's so good to see you. Thank you, love. FBI and Ellie checked the vehicles, computers, and the phones and apps. Oh, yes. They certainly did. They certainly did. Okay, look at this. Ooh, it's kind of blurry. Kind of blurry, but it could be, let me just pull it up like this. So it'll be more clear. It's still a little blurry, but might be more blurry. Okay, it says the following. A neighbor of Nancy Guthrie spotted this dark red Honda near Camino Real on February 2nd, the day after Nancy Guthrie's suspected abduction nearby. She told Fox News Digital it remained in place for about 3 days where it was moved. The route itself had been flagged to Fox News Digital by another neighbor, who said she also saw a suspicious man walking in the area on February 2nd around the corner from what appeared to be an abandoned car. The young mother asked not to be named due to the concerns of her children's safety amid the unsolved kidnapping investigation. She described him as 5'9". Yes, 5'9". Hispanic, and see, I don't like when people say like necessarily Hispanic or whatever. I like for them to, because that can really throw people off. I want people to like, their maybe like their skin tone, or whatever, because if you would talk to them and they don't have like a Spanish accent, it can, no, it's not them. With a close trimmed beard and wearing a silver bracelet. Holy fuck. Was it a watch? Was it a watch? Guys. Guys. Hold on. A close trimmed beard and wearing a silver bracelet. We got to come back to this. He was smoking a cigarette near the intersection of Camino Juan, which is between Camino Real and Guthrie's home. The Pima County Sheriff's Department did not return multiple phone calls and emails about the man in the vehicle, a dark red Honda SUV that the neighbor said was moved 3 days later. One second. Give me, hold on 1 second. Okay. I'm going to show you something. I need to read something first, though. This is what I'm going to show is for commentary, discussion, news, and educational purposes only. I'm not accusing any private citizen, family member, friend, witness, neighbor, law enforcement officer, or any person discussed in the episode of committing a crime, being involved in a crime, or having any legal responsibility unless the person has been officially named, charged, or convicted of law enforcement or a court of law. Any opinion shared are based on publicly available information, news reporting, social media, official statements, or court records when available, and my own personal commentary. Questions, theories, analysis are not statements of fact and should not be treated as accusations. Please do not contact anyone, harass anyone, dox anyone. Everyone is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law. Okay, let me show you this. You know, who we were, going over an interview the other day. Well, this person always seems to wear black and silver watches. I think I've got one with a silver watch on it. Oh, I was gonna say that's silver bracelets, but that's the wrong kind of silver bracelets. He's got the black watches on here. Damn, I'll have to find it. I don't know if I've got it here, but I have one with a silver watch on somewhere. Yeah. This is and then go over. Where was it? This one. Right there. I'm trying to find the one with the silver bracelet. Wasn't the Scream 911 call a red Honda? Maybe you're right. That as well. I might have that. Let me check. I've got that somewhere. Oh, let me show you this while we have this up. This is one second here. This is the trust deed that a lot of y'all were asking about. And then it's got maximum lien. The lien of the deed of the trust shall not exceed of $70,000. And this is dated April 28, 2017, Nancy Guthrie as trust on behalf of the Nancy L. Guthrie Revocate Trust, dated July 24, 2002. 5820. She's had this credit line for about, there goes my camera again. She's had this credit line of about $70,000. It was blue, not red. You're probably talking about Tommaso and Annie's. We're talking about the one here on the side of the road. That's the one you're talking about. Everyone was sus of the blue car. Oh, you talking about the one like riding at night? Decades ago would only wear silver with black and gold. I don't know. Okay. This was the credit line. It's like $70,000. Let me see here. She's had it for years. Revolving credit line, specifically and additionally, the amount specifies of the indebtedness definition of without limitations. This deed of trust secures a revolving line of credit which obligates lender to make advances to borrower so long as the borrower complies with all the terms of credit agreement. Okay. And rents and personal property is given secure a payment of the indebtedness. I'll drop this link. So if you guys want to look over it more, because you guys probably don't want to hear my jargon on this right here, I'll play it.
He's going.
Yeah, I'm just telling you that this is a likely scenario for that first couple of hours.
I understand.
I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I'm saying that that's a likely scenario, and everybody has glossed over this. I keep coming back to it because it is very, very relevant in this case, especially with the blood, of course.
Which part? Meaning,
well, I'm talking about the search and rescue aspect. We still don't know, or at least I don't know, how long it took. My understanding is it took them several hours before they started calling detectives in.
Okay, but here's the other side of it, right? And now I'm going to speak from as a dog handler, former dog handler. Okay, I'm going to put the dog scent. I'm going to put the dog on that blood, and I'm going to hook him up. And as you guys know, I'm going to hook him up. I'm going to give him the command zoop, and he's going to go down, and he's going to,
and they did that.
Okay,
and they did that with the Border Patrol.
Did they follow the blood trail?
We don't know.
We don't know.
But Nancy's shirt was found days later, of course, on the front walkway, and they used that shirt apparently as a sniff. Yeah. Right. So it was right there in close proximity to the blood.
Right, but here's the point that I would offer. Here's the point: that blood trail ends at the end of that, according to all the information that we have. It goes from the front door to the end of the walkway there.
21 likes.
If she was bleeding from the head or something severely wounded, which we know she was, or something is going on there, okay. We know there would be additional blood leaving that front porch and going across that dirt if she was a woman.
And that's exactly the thing, right? So if Nancy was bleeding and she was walking or being carried and she went across the driveway, then there would be additional blood. She was on blood thinner. But we don't see that. So either she had to be put in a car right there, or she had to be put in something, and that's why those trails, those little tire trails, was there. It's one or the other. I think it's probably a car that she was put in most likely, but it certainly could be some type of device that she was put in. Again, we 100% don't know that those lines across the driveway are from that night, right? We think it might be, but we don't
Walk away.
100%
I'm
know.
just using common sense as a walk away. Okay. And you would follow that. You would also now start seeing a transfer of additional evidence, potentially footprints. If she was delirious in the middle of the night, she doesn't have her shoes on, hypothetically, because even Savannah says, well, she didn't have her shoes on. Okay.
Well, how does she know that?
Well, that's a great question. That's another thing. Insert here. We'll go back to that later. Okay. But now you're going to have some potential footprints going out there, human footprints, and bare footprints. Those are even better.
Amazing.
I think we can all agree to that. And that's why you have Bortec there. Those guys do that all day long. And you've run those teams. They're the best in the world. They know exactly what they're doing.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with them.
I know. No, you ran them. I know that. They're your team guys.
And so, but here, that all takes time. And we know from what Nanos told us in the initial press conference, the first one that he had, that they called out their search and rescue team. That takes time. Okay.
Right.
So the gates propped open, the doors propped open with the flower pot.
Let me go back about the shirt.
That blood the way on there, okay, goes. I would offer here's the point. That blood trail ends at the end. They
did that.
I'm going to put the dog on that blood, and I'm going to hook him up. And as you guys know, I'm going to hook him up. I'm going to give him the command zoop, and he's going to go down, and he's going to,
And they did that.
Okay.
And they did that with the Border Patrol.
Did they follow the blood trail?
We don't know.
We don't know.
But Nancy's shirt was found days later, of course, on the front walkway, and they used that shirt apparently.
I don't know anything about his shirt. Oh, hold on. Do you guys remember? I thought it was the backyard. There was a shirt back there. But we don't know if that was hers, was it? You remember now? I forgot about that. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, we don't know if that was. But why would the FBI lay it down like that, though? Yep, the sheriff's department let it set it out there. If so, they're so fucking unprofessional. They're just the most careless. So careless, man. Hand truck from the backyard. Yeah, we showed that. We showed that before. Um, they end up saying they used it for dogs. See what he says right there.
They did that.
Okay.
And they did that with the Border Patrol.
Did they follow the blood trail?
We don't know.
We don't know.
But
I don't know if it's, he's getting it confused or what.
Nancy's shirt was found days later, of course, on the front walkway, and they used that shirt apparently as a sniff. Yeah.
Right.
So it was right there in close proximity to the blood.
Right, but here's the point that I'm I would offer here's the point. That blood trail ends at the end of that, according to all the information that we have. It goes from the front door to the end of the walkway there. If she was bleeding from the head or something severely wounded, which we know she was, or something is going on there, okay? We know there would be additional blood.
Yeah, exactly.
Leaving that
Denise.
front porch and going across that dirt. If she was a walkaway, I'm just using common sense as a walkaway. Okay. And you would follow that. You would also now start seeing a transfer of additional.
Lisa says, go to pick up front lawn left of memorial area. You'll see the blue shirt. Thank you, Lisa. Hello, YouTuber.
Evidence, potentially footprints. If she was delirious in the middle of the night, she doesn't have her shoes on, hypothetically, because even Savannah says, well, she didn't have her shoes on. Okay.
Well, how does she know that?
Well, that's a great question. That's another thing. Insert here. We'll go back to that later. Okay. But now you're going to have some potential footprints going out there, human footprints, and bare footprints. Those are even better. I think we can all agree to that.
Yeah, bare
and that's why you have
footprints would be even
Vortec there. Those guys do that all day long, and you've run those teams.
Yeah, I know.
They're the best in the world. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
And
I'm very familiar with them.
I know. No, you ran them. I know that. They're your team guys.
And so, but here, that all takes time. And we know from what Nanos told us in the initial.
It takes less time if you send it to the FBI, Nanos.
Press conference, the first one that he had, that they called out their search and rescue team. That takes time. Okay.
Right.
So the gates propped open, the doors propped open with the flower pots, that could have been done by the search and rescue team for all we know.
But that was told to Savannah by Annie.
Okay, but I get that, but
And
that's
search and
how
rescue's
Annie.
not even there yet.
Well, we don't know who put it there. I will say this, and this may just come down to a question of preference, Bob. Routinely, if we had a missing walkaway in Oceanside or a missing child, if it went any length of time, detectives were dispatched because the presumption was, and this was later, this was after you left, but when I worked crimes of violence, I was called out on numerous instances because the notion was, what do we lose by having trained investigators there? And they may look and find something and say, maybe this isn't a search and rescue operation. I'm not questioning their decision, but
Yeah, and I totally agree with you, John. I'm not disagreeing with anything that Chris or John or anybody else has said. I'm just setting the stage for a different scenario.
Understood.
That likely occurred. Okay, and we're glossing over that. A lot of people are glossing over it, and just because it's obvious to us now, the chain of events.
I know
It
her.
may not have been obvious to the responding deputies immediately. Okay, that's my point. That's my entire point in bringing this up.
Okay,
And
makes sense.
that is that's a very important point when we're analyzing the crime scene and what had happened. Doors held open with the pots and blood and all of the crimes, what we now know as a crime scene. It may not have been that apparent to those deputies in the immediacy that we are giving this evidence.
Well, and they've said, remember, your sergeant said, Chris, that the level of experience among the deputies there
That's where
is low. And the other thing is, there may even have been a departmental unspoken attitude of, you don't call the detectives out unless you've got, unless you can point to something and say, absolutely 100% we need detectives. They may have had a different philosophy, but again, I forget the sergeant's name, talked about the fact that you have rookies.
Well, one thing I think I would have brought up if I was there, I would have said the homicide, the leading homicide, he has never even solved a homicide. And we're like the senior most officer there was like 3 years after 3 months and no heat. Yeah. But why did Nanos have homicide? And, some people say because it was the weekend, that was the only available island. But again, yeah, I mean, love you, Pam. We're talking about someone. It's just amazing to me. Someone's in homicide has never solved a homicide.
He's training rookies.
Yeah, Sergeant Cross.
Yes.
Yeah, but by implication, the brother who wasn't even there knew more than the people who were investigated on the ground when suggesting that it seemed like an abduction for money.
Well, again, that's insert heroes. That's what I'm going to start calling these. Okay. Well, we'll just start calling.
But you get what I'm saying. I mean, that's odd.
John knows me.
Page tabs.
Yeah, page tab. Insert here. That's a great point, Gary, because as Bob is saying, let's run. We'll stay with that as a possibility, as a scenario here. It could be very, very valid. Makes sense, right? That the patrol guys get there and they go, okay, it's a walk away. Let's go. Okay. So then we go now to the second piece of this. This particular scenario, and I'm going to go back to the car. I'm going to go to a car. And I mentioned this recently with somebody. I said, well, first of all,
was I muted by what the evidence looks like, Sharon, or what the crime scene looks like? I think that's what they mean by that.
If this guy or gal or whoever it is, one or two, I think there's more than one. Personal opinion. Okay,
I agree.
I think that's a good point, Sue. It wasn't just a weekend; it was Super Bowl Sunday, so investigators took off for football. Wow, that's crazy. Staying in the movies, detectives are jumping up in the middle of the night with phone calls. Yeah. The shirt was taken from the inside of the home to use for the dog's tracking and never taken back in. It was not laying out for days. It was not laying outside for days and not found. Yeah. From what I'm understanding as well, they end up saying they used it for dogs, the blue shirt, and the idiots left it on the ground. Now, once the ransom came across giving the celebrity involvement at the point, most states would have happily called in the FBI. Well, yeah, but, with Nanos, Sheriff Doofy, he's got that chip on his shoulder. Makes sense. Good to see you, babies. and Nano's brother actually passed away. Yeah, a lot going on. And like, I wouldn't want to handle it if I wasn't in the right state of mind either. Right? But again, it's ego.
I think we all agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So
absolutely.
we think
Despite,
there's
despite people disagreeing with us, I think even this is where your door point comes in, Chris.
well, and
The
that's
box
where
of the door point is very important when you think about how many people were involved.
and not only that, but just backing up, Gary, to where the pre-surveillance. Okay. If a suspect, the whole reason I think they're looking for, going back all the dates, it is much easier to find a car than it is a body. If you find the car, you will find the body because she was transported out of that house and disappeared. And so that means either A, she's nearby because she can't walk very far, or B, she was put in a vehicle and transported out.
In my opinion, I think this vehicle is most likely hidden or destroyed. I think it was probably a cheaper vehicle, and it might have been used specifically for this.
Out of there. Okay. I think there's been too much attention on finding the guy at the porch and not enough attention on finding the car that the guy may have had to get to the porch.
And that's very interesting. Like Chris is speaking about there. And I've always said, yes, I agree with that 100%, but there's multiple ways you can do an investigation. You can try to, like Chris is saying, you can try to find this guy right here. You can try to find the vehicle. You can try to find Nancy. And it seems like they weren't trying to find Nancy at all. And it seems like they're still, and when I say, I'm talking about actually searching for Nancy. Because if you found Nancy in the beginning, she's going to have evidence on her. She is evidence, essentially. And that could lead you to finding the car, fibers, whatever. And like Chris is speaking about here, if you find that vehicle, it's going to lead you, it's going to have VINs on it. It's going to have identifications on it of the owners, right? It's easy. Once you find the vehicle and you go to the last owner, right? And even if they don't have it, this criminal don't have it in their name or something, they'll say, no, I sold that to Johnny down the road 2 weeks ago. He paid cash for it or whatever. And you go to Johnny's house.
Now, particularly since there are only two major highways, two major thoroughfares that lead in and out of that neighborhood.
Perfect. Okay, so now I think they're going back and looking through, and the reason they want all that video is because if they see him multiple times coming to the house to surveil, that
exactly what I have stated. If he's here on the 11th and he's here that night and he's here other days that we don't know.
Means he also probably brought the vehicle into the environment.
Yes. So criminals, like if they're surveilling something, many times they're not hiding they'll keep their phone on. Like if this person was there on the 11th, many times they don't even turn their phone off if it's 2 or 3 weeks prior. Or they're driving the vehicle that they kidnapped Nancy in days or weeks prior.
And they're trying, I think they're narrowing down the types of cars that are coming and going in that neighborhood.
I agree.
And deciding, okay, here's an anomaly. And, you know, we just did that in the Michael Vaughn case in Idaho, where, you know, we had there was.
Yes. And, you know, I cover Michael Vaughn's case. Michael Vaughn's mother's a friend of mine. And Chris McDonough right here, he worked that case. And now there's charges, court finally
Hundreds
happening.
of cars. And next thing you know, there's one car at the splash pad, and it just happened to be Stacy Wander's car. Okay, who was just bound over, by the way, so I can talk about it. Okay. I think that's the same scenario here. If you've got this person doing pre-surveillance.
February 11th.
September, right. The 11th and the
February
24th, right? You've got January 11th, you've got February 24th.
Yes, February 24th has came up as well.
Well, that guy's coming through those flock cameras to get into that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they're going to narrow him down.
They've got to have this SOB on camera. They have to have him on camera. You can't tell me 90 fucking days later they don't know what vehicle this is, man. I mean, they did 2 other search warrants outside of Tommaso. They looked at the Range Rover, they took it back. They looked at Annie and Tommaso's car, long time. They gave that back as well. They have to have what vehicle. I think they're just trying to find that vehicle, whether it's being hidden in a garage or it's been sold. You know, no, you're not blocked, Kimberly. We see you. And let's just say, for instance, if, you know, this person is, you know, in the car business, for instance, and what if they import and export cars, right? A lot of people ship cars to Mexico or Africa or the Middle East as well. That makes it a hell of a lot harder to find and to get. And if there's, you know, evidence on it and it's been shipped, puts a damper on things.
Because you're going to see that car multiple times.
It's Pebble's birthday. Is it your birthday, Pebbles? Oh, I'm sorry, Pebbles. It's your mama's birthday. If they used a car, I don't think she ever made it home. If they used a car. Well, we're talking about like a car taking her out, if that's what you mean. That'd be Pebbles.
Coming in on the 1st, on the 24th, and on the 11th. And it's just a matter of let's play elimination.
Yes.
Now, the second problem that I think we should discuss here, or at least, you know, conversation piece here, is where do you park that car? Not talking about, you know, the porch guy or anything like that. Let's just talk about that car. Okay.
Think about this, guys. Listen.
If your plan is to take the victim out of the back, i.e. you're going to prop the doors open and all this other stuff, well, logically, you would think, well, let's park in the back. Okay. Or go ahead.
Or the car is parked up the street with an accomplice inside of it, and you're going to use that two-way radio that you have in your pocket to call that person up
Great point.
once you're ready for them.
Great point.
Very
But
good
then why
point.
take her out the back?
She's not going out the back.
Well, you started to say it. You pull the car up close to the back, and that would make more sense to me than taking her out the front door.
Which wouldn't be visual. There wouldn't be the opportunity if you're in the back. There isn't visual access from a passing vehicle on the street.
Bingo.
Mm-hmm.
So insert here. Where did that narrative come from?
The family.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know about this part. The question I have about this is, then why did this guy go to the front door in the first place? There's no point. And there's blood there. Mm-hmm. But I think they're trying to talk about all theories, not just like maybe their main theory.
Common denominators for me. Okay. If we were to keep a scorecard, we know who was the last person to see? The family. When you guys got here, what did you see? All the other stuff, right? We just keep checking little
I do
blocks,
agree with
little numbers across the thing. Okay. Or let's play devil's advocate scenario number 2. Okay. Let's say the guy's up the street, the walkie-talkie's in play. I think that could still be a scenario personally. Okay. Something changed that just the individual took her out the front door. Now, that could have been, I can't make it out to,
And this is the thing that real me too. I mean, it has to be almost someone very, very close. Almost in all scenarios, it's someone very, very close. And it's usually someone who's pissed off. Again, who wants an 84-year-old dead? And if they didn't want her dead, and it was for ransom, and things just went sideways, I mean, that's possible. It's possible.
I can't get around to the front, I'm sick, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Hypothetically. But now we've got 4 lock mechanisms.
Okay. I want to hear this part right here.
2 on the interior door, 2 on the exterior door.
Okay.
I want to know if that deputy saw those front doors locked or open, or if he was told they were locked or open.
Very good point, right? Those front doors had better been unlocked, right? Those front doors had better been unlocked. Because if they weren't, first of all, I don't think criminals are going to take time to lock 4 locks back. And he's right. Did he check? Or was he told that they were locked or unlocked? But again, nothing would surprise me with someone not solving a homicide and clearing it within 36 to 48 hours and leaving Nancy's fucking shirt outside. God, it's so frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the condition of the lights inside the house.
Bingo.
Right. Yeah. A lot of
lights,
information from inside the house. I totally agree. And,
Soon,
is that security door, is that a keyed deadbolt on both sides of the door? Or does it have a finger lock, if you will, on the inside so that you can, obviously if you're inside, you just come and open it. But if you're leaving, or anyone on the outside would have to use a key to disengage the deadbolt, correct?
Right.
So I would want to know that information. We have none of it, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, all those observations and when you're looking at it as a crime scene, once again, these things
don't know. I mean, I'm assuming that the doors were closed, but we're talking the front doors, but we're talking about were they locked or unlocked?
are obvious to us, right? But when you have that search and rescue hat on, because you've been to these a million times as a Pima County deputy, there's going to be a delay. And that's apparently what happened in this case. Okay. Even with the blood being located on the front porch, even with the blood.
Okay, because it was 2 hours later that Annie calls Savannah and says what she did. They called the hospitals, and she says in there, in fact, we just heard it a moment ago,
Sorry, Jen.
but let's hear what the sheriff says.
Disbelief.
How cold did it get? Oh, she was missing overnight, I take it? She was.
Well, she was last seen at about 9:30, 9:45 last night.
9:30, 9:45. Do you know how cold it got last night? Is that a concern?
No, you guys are going to know
Okay.
that better.
Is that a concern, though?
That's one of the first things you do when you get to a scene.
I'm cold. Yeah. No, it's,
So when she was last seen, a family had dropped her off at home, is that correct?
She was last seen by family at 9:45, at 9:30, 9:45.
And did they see her in the home?
Yes.
Yes, he says.
Okay, so that is a pretty clear question and a pretty clear answer. Did they see her in the home? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they said they did.
Narrative insert here. Okay. There is no ambiguity about that statement and that question.
True.
And by the way, they're already engaged in the search and rescue for the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, to me, that again, we go back to the minutia details and we start thinking about, okay, if she's in that house, what are those data points? Okay. I had an astronomer friend who emailed me and said they looked up the sequence of the moon that evening at 0200 at 2 o'clock in the morning. When you look at the video and you see the shadow of the suspect walking up to the porch, this astronomer said the sequence of that event was approximately 0200 hours for the shadow to be cast in the position that it was and the position of the moon. Okay. So now I think we can narrow down that guy was on the porch in that video, walking up to it with the full moon behind him. And it's 2 o'clock in the morning on the front porch.
Are we talking, is he talking about the 11th? I think he's talking about the 11th though, right?
Why is he doing that?
Well, of course, we don't know. Was he staging the front porch? Or
I don't
was
know.
Yeah.
I'm just asking the question.
Yeah. Was
I
he?
hate it when you do that to me, Bob. That's
Was
why
he? Yeah. I mean, since he does now, admittedly, it's a very brief video clip.
now I got to find Bob's motor picture of him in boots. Yeah. So finish your thought, John.
what does he do other than present himself to be viewed by the camera? If I'm there ostensibly as part of either an abduction or to commit an elimination crime, why am I stopping to look into the camera? I mean, it's almost like he's vamping so that he can be seen. So I lean toward, almost in some respects, this being a diversion.
Gary, jump in here. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm curious what you guys thought about the point that I made earlier, that if there really is a sort of chef, as I've said all over the place,
I don't think it's a diversion.
and the cook,
personally.
the waiter, is it possible that the chef tells the waiter that the camera is off, and then he's caught off guard to discover that it isn't, and then has to make this pathetic attempt to try to get it off? I'm just curious what you guys think about that, because if there is a mastermind person here, I don't think he gives a flying leap about the goon or the person that might be the helper. Now, and incidentally, along those same lines of we're only considering a hypothesis, not a fact, I would also say that it is entirely possible that chef and waiter are one and the same. It's just that, which is a point, Bob, you've made. It may be simpler, right? But just entertaining a hypothesis, I'm curious what you guys think about the possibility that the guy on the camera was authentically shocked to discover that it was on.
I think he forgot about it for whatever reason. I think he was thinking about something else and he's like, shit, there's the camera. In my opinion. Remember the two in leather filming at Nancy's? Yeah, what about him? What about him, Rachel? Yeah. Let's see here. A YouTuber found 2 keys in a wash. I haven't found the live yet. So you remember whenever they were we went over this, they were looking, they went from Tommaso and Annie's house and they went straight back to Nancy's house and they were looking for something out in the yard. Do you remember that? They went out back and they were with their flashlights and they were looking for something. Yep. That always bothered me. Always bothered me that they were out there looking for, they went from Annie and Tommaso's and they went straight over there very late at night or early hours of the morning and they were looking for something. All right, guys, let's have a chicken party. I'm at 3 hours and 12 minutes. I'd love to hear Chris and them. They were asking neighbors at A&T if they found a phone. Yeah, there was allegedly something else that they were looking for too. Can't remember. Dropped phone. Can you imagine? Think about that. If you are this person or one of the persons affiliated with this and you dropped your phone, talk about shitting yourself. Boy, that would be bad. That would be bad. A phone, a camera phone. Was that when they were poking in the cesspool? No. This was at when they were looking, when they had been searching in Annie and Tommaso's house, and they left there and they went straight back over to Nancy's house. Yeah, they were looking for her there. Yeah. All right, guys, we made over 1,100 thumbs up. What you did. Thank you all so much for that. Let's have a mother chicken party.
Katie! Christopher! Katie! Christopher! A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit. A bullshit.
Lord, kumbaya.
The following is an actual video of me putting on my lipstick.
Girl, how I look? Like a damn fool. No, them veneers don't make that look no better. Girl, bye.
The following is an actual video of Jen getting her milkshake.
Get up off me. I said that's enough. Let my gut to the go. You act like you starving, Monquito. Now I said that's enough. You want to bite me? Huh? Okay. That's how I feel. Now get up off me. Got these people recording me act like I don't feed your ass. And look at your damn daddy just sitting there. You need to come get your damn daughter. She get this shit from you. Now let my damn titty go. You didn't eat. Let it go. Because at this rate, I'm not gonna care if Monkey Protective Services come get your ass. Now let them go. You didn't eat and you acting like you starving. Okay, we won't listen. We won't listen. Who is that? Oh, I thought I heard something. Now get your... Okay, let me just turn my ass around. Now, didn't I tell you to let my shit go? Now, I'm not about to keep playing with you in front of these people. I'm trying... Okay. Let me see who looking. Okay, hey.
Ooh. The following is an actual picture or video of me getting a late night snack of fruit.
Let me see what's going on with this little piece of fruit, baby. Clear my throat. Got a good little ring to it, not tart at all. Very sweet. Let me get on up here, baby. I don't need everybody in my mix. See, you don't need to see Big Mama eat her oranges. Go on back the camera up and stop playing with my time before I get active mode face.
And a little piece of fruit, Monquita. Okay, here we go.
My dog's name is not Fluffy. My dog's name is Tucker. 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 If you don't hear it, maybe you'll know what it spells.
Day at the drawer. Stop. You love touching my belly. Oh, you make me feel so sexy and confident. Oh, let me back up so you can look at it. Hi, look, baby. Stop playing. I just fall hot when you do that to me, boy. Come on now. Oh, look at these legs and stuff you got. Oh, I think I want to touch and kiss up on you real quick. What's up? In public. Let's do it right here in public, babe. What's up, boy? Come on, let's do it in public, babe. Stop playing with my time. Come on, boy. Come on, babe. Let's do it in public. Ooh, don't start nothing. Won't be no start, no shoe, won't be no stuff. Come on now, touching my titties and all that. Come on, boy, in public. Ooh, let me take this leg real quick and then. Ooh, where you going? Where you going, babe? Come here. Touch on me. Tease me. Nah, for real. Come on, let's go. What you doing? Baby, come on now. We got to get to the barbecue. Stop playing now. Stop playing with my time. Oh, let me get up here. Oh, look at that butt. Oh, take this shirt off real quick. See, let's go on and get wet out. Let's show them the way, because you know I do what I do when I do it. Come on, babe. Come on. Oh, this shirt is cute. Come on now. And let me tell you something. Why you liking that girl photograph on Instagram? I told you about getting too friendly-handed on Instagram. Stop liking their pictures. Stop liking their pictures. Do you hear me? They don't need you to know you. Stop. Stop liking their pictures playing on my time. Come on, babe. Let's go. I'm hungry now. They waiting on us. I want me a rib sandwich with some little cheese. Boy, get from behind me. See you.
The following is an actual video of Sheriff Doofy taking a midnight call.
Hello? Hello? I said don't disturb you, I'm cleaning my room!
RCMP, open up.
Lord, kumbaya. Someone
Oh my God! Look at Chris.
We just got the top report back in, and General Daugherty wants to watch the videotape.
Is that Chris?
November 26th, Mr. Feek will stay in touch with Mr. McKinney.
They can shut their chicken tone, chicken bone, Google Chrome, no home flip phone, disown ice cream cone, garden gnome, student loan, full blown Indiana Jones, overgrown Flintstone, X and Y chromosome, red zone, Sylvester Stallone, AutoZone, professionally seen Silver Patron, head up. Okay. How you doing? My favorite part. Thank you guys so much. Really do appreciate you. Thank you for reminding me that. Alicia, thank you so much for the 30 joules, my dear. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much. And Leslie, keeping it real, thank you for the 6 Jilly Joules. Thank you so much, my love. Skip Record C, thank you so much for the 2 Star Joules. Thank you so much, my dear. And Kat, thank you so much for the 300 Heart Joules. Thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate that. And I think that's it. If I missed you guys, it's never intentional, I promise that. Thank you guys, I do appreciate you. I hope something comes out soon. I'm digging on the Nancy Guthrie case right now, so hopefully we'll have some more stuff coming out soon. I wondered if someone was watching her at Annie's and walkie-talkies. Well, if you think about the neighbor, the night Nancy was over at Annie and Tommaso's, there was just right below Nancy's house, there was a very strange vehicle. And it seems like they were obviously keeping track on her. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Hey, did the Murdoch trial get reversed? Oh my God, I hope not. I will fucking flip a brick. Where did you hear that? No. He's done appeals. I don't think he's going anywhere. Not that nothing out there. It's looking that way, but not confirmed yet. I'll be there at the trial. It's not on the news yet. Oh my God, I hope not. Talk about a POS. He gets a new trial. We covered the live trial. Miss Kelsey, I'm gonna send that to me. Talk about a POS. Talk about a damper. Justin, the lady from Fitz News has leaked it. Ooh, well, if she says it, I guarantee you, if she says it, it's real. I think I have a subscription to Fitz News, so let me check. There's no way in hell. I think he'll win. Nancy Gracious post about it. He's nasty. I watched the Alec Murdaugh. They did a movie about it's like a kind of like a documentary, but it's a really good. It's on Netflix. Yeah, send it to me, the real me too, please, if you don't mind. I'll look into it. All right, guys. Much love, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I will, Lord willing, see you guys tomorrow. Good night, everyone. God bless.